And we are live. Hey everyone, and welcome to our Watch with Watt Hamilton Watchalong. So yeah,
Yay!
Right now, of course, you got Chris. So Chris freshened his cut up. I was about to make fun of him because I
dyed my hair.
Yeah, that too.
Can you see it?
I can't see.
Just
looks
just
good.
the top. Thanks, just the top. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Did you bring your own tacos to this party?
I ate beforehand. I didn't know we were having a dinner and a movie.
Taco party. Taco Friday.
Taco party.
I do have an adult beverage, so I hope you guys don't mind.
No.
Yeah, not sponsored.
You could have told George there is going to be beer then.
This was a spur of the moment decision. I'm sorry.
But no, we're here to watch Hamilton. We're here to talk about Hamilton. So I'm going to start it off with Lou because I know Lou and I are the only ones here who have seen the actual stage production. Oh, I thought you did last year.
No, he did?
Oh, he didn't.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
No, it's Nathan and Emily went.
Man.
Yeah, you got shafted. Missed out on that.
Lies. How dare you?
Didn't want to go. Now, it's no offense to Hamilton. It's just I didn't want to go.
But Lou and I have seen the show. Nick and Chris haven't.
I'm going to get a nap.
This is almost 3 hours long. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, you should watch Les Mis.
Oh, God, no.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
No. But Lou, since you and I have both seen the show, I'm going to ask you first. What are you expecting from this? What are you most excited for?
Well, what I'm expecting, I'm always pessimistic with everything. I'm just imagining it's going to be the album. It's going to be the same performance, just with a visual. That's what I'm expecting. I mean, I of course hope it has a lot of passion in it and all that. But I think that I just hope that they capture the feeling of being in the theater while watching it. That's all that I just hope for. That they somehow capture that. I mean, you won't ever get that exactly, but
Fair enough. Now, considering you are a theater person, if you could play one character in the show, who would it be?
okay. There's a lot of
Great
roles
question.
I want to play. I think one of my favorite roles is James Reynolds. That's actually that's the role that I would say I want to play. And then second, it would be Mariah Reynolds. And then thirdly, it would be one of the Schuyler sisters. Because
Which one?
Which is Mariah Reynolds.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be Peggy. Nobody wants to be Peggy.
Don't disrespect Peggy.
And Peggy. Oh, I hate Peggy.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect any of those answers. I thought you were gonna say King George because that fits the Lou persona so well.
When I first listened to it, I'm like, that's my part. You know, I would of course do that one. But then listening to it over and over again, I'd probably listen to the album probably 55 times.
Same.
Okay?
I listen to it at least once a month.
I just listen to it at work, and everyone hears the da, 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 and then they're like, "Oh, great!"
It's my dad's ringtone.
Yeah. So I mean, but serious answer, I think I would want to play Aaron Burr. And oh my God, this is the toughest question ever because I keep on thinking, oh, I would want to play King George. No, I would want to play George Washington as well.
So you just said my two. For me, it's Burr and Washington.
Yeah.
Anybody who's named George.
Yeah, George.
There's a trend.
Yeah. So I think going back, James Reynolds, then it would be George Washington. Those are my big two.
Now, Chris, how about you? Considering I know you know the music and everything.
Yes.
You haven't seen it. This is your first experience outside of the album with Hamilton.
Literally looking at the little thumbnail that Disney Plus has on Hamilton right now, I'm getting flustered because I've been listening to this for years now, and I've always been wanting to watch the thing. It doesn't matter if it's the OG cast or not. I've been wanting to watch it. And if I had to pick a role, I mean, it was already mentioned, but I feel like it's the correct answer. It's King George. Like, yeah, the 2 songs. Apparently, it's all my man's got, and it's 3.
He doesn't know the other one.
Don't spoil it for me.
It's a surprise.
He's in the first one.
Oh no, he's got 4 then.
No, 3.
Oh,
Either way, I love King George. At least from the bits I've listened, I can't wait to fall in love with Jonathan Groff, and I watch him right now. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so stoked to watch this. I've been waiting all day. It's been the longest day of 2020.
Now I know you've talked about we need to go when it opens back up in Chicago because you're just like a stone's throw away from that city. Yeah, and the exhibit's going to be in Chicago too, so it's supposed to be housed in Chicago forever, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so once the country's not on fire anymore, like I am so game to go and check it out. I would love to. Same, homie.
2021.
Now, let's go to the person who really has no experience with this show.
Hi. Howdy, y'all.
So, Nick, how are you feeling about Hamilton going into it for the first time? But basically just having your mom's kitchen music as your reference.
Very true. But that gets mixed into every single other musical ever. So, I'm going into this blind, more or less. I mean, I know enough. Matt has sent me a lot of Snapchats of him singing it for about 3 minutes straight. They're beautiful. They're lovely.
Give me those Washington and Burr parts.
Anyways, he has sung it a lot, and it's fine. It's beautiful. But no, getting ready to see what the hype is. You know what I mean? I mean, I love theater. I've been involved with it my whole life. So for something to be so predominant like a musical and be such a big part of a generation, I just think that it's amazing all on its own. And yeah, I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. Everything that I have seen him in so far. And yeah, I'm excited.
Chris threw on the specs for a second. He's getting serious.
Yeah, I want to watch this thing, man. I need to look at it, really look at it. That's what I got to do. I'll put him on when we actually start watching.
Wearing his glasses.
He can rap.
You'll know soon.
All right.
You'll understand.
Well, Chris, you ready?
Man, I'm so stoked. Are we? Do you still have a thumbnail gimmick, or you want me to actually start at 0?
I'm on the thumbnail right now, so I was gonna count it down.
Word. All right.
Well, guys, we're about to start the show, so wait, I forgot to throw on my surround sound. We doing it right today.
So our stream gets taken down. All right.
Nah.
Yeah. Shout out to Do the Right Thing.
Wait, it only happened on Facebook. Facebook is the only one that took us down, and we're not streaming to Facebook. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, because it's Disney.
All right, I'm gonna come over your house later.
Yeah, the mouse is gonna come and take us out.
Nah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on YouTube.
Well, guys, we're about to start the show. So, in 3, 2, 1.
It will be nice to not stream between like 3 houses today. That would be really nice. Oh, we already got taken down.
Oh, jeez.
With your king, George III. Welcome to Hamilton. At this time, please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices.
Yeah, Chris.
All photography and video recording is strictly prohibited.
It's a good joke.
Thank you, and enjoy my show. son of a whore, and the Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean. Our Providence impoverished and squalor. Grow up to be a hero and a scholar.
The $10 founded father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of a trading charter.
And every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, he struggled and kept his guard up. Inside he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter.
Then a hurricane came, devastation reigned. A man saw his future dripping down the drain. But a pencil to his temple connected it to his brain. And he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain.
But the word got about.
They said this kid is insane, man. Look up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came. And the world's gonna know your name. What's his name?
Alexander Hamilton. It's Alexander Hamilton. There's a million things I haven't done. Just you wait, just you wait.
When he was told his father's gift for the debt written 2 years later, see Alex in his mother bed, written half dead, sitting in their room sick, the sick, and Alex got better. His mother went back.
With the cousin committed suicide, left him with nothing but ruined pride. Something new inside a voice saying, Alex, you gotta fend for yourself. He started retreating, reading that retreat is so Michelle.
There would have been nothing left to do for someone less to do. He would have been given destitute.
I see that smile, Chris.
I keep on inflating mother's land, bringing sugar cane and all and all the things he can't afford. Every book he can get his hands on. And don't you just see him now with his hands on the bow of the ship, headed for a new land. In New York, you can be a new man. New York, you can just you wait. New York, you can just you wait. New York, you can be a new man. New York, just you never back down, you never let it take your time. They know what you don't ever pay. They know you love the game. We'll never be the same. If it's in the heart, see if you can try. Another river coming from the child. He's destroyed his red for bed because of that. We fought with him. I died for him. I trusted him.
I love him.
And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him. What's your name? Alexander Hamilton.
1776. New York City.
Pardon me, are you Aaron Burke, sir?
That depends who's asking.
Oh, well, sure. Sir, I'm Alexander Hamilton. I'm at your service, sir. I have been looking for you.
I'm getting nervous.
Sir, I heard your name in Princeton. I was seeking an accelerated course of study. When I got sort of out of sorts with a buddy of yours, I may have punched a bit to blood. Sir, he handles the financials.
You punched the person.
Yes, I wanted to do what you did, graduate and to join the revolution. He looked at me like I was stupid. I'm not stupid. So how'd you do it? How'd you graduate so fast?
It was my parents' dying wish before they passed.
You're an orphan, of course. I'm an orphan. God, I wish
Can I buy you a drink? Oh, don't you let me off with some free advice. Talk less,
What? Smile more. Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. Can't be serious. You wanna get ahead. Yes. Fools who run their mouths off wind up dead.
Yo, what time is it? Showtime!
Like I said.
Showtime! Yeah! I'm John Rollins in the place to be, and Sue Pranks and Sam Adams, but I'm working on 3. What's red coats don't want it with me, cause I will box you up black these cops and I'm free.
Now, easy, mon ami, je ne sais rien. Let's allow the revolution of the set.
I came from the side.
To stay on fire to the king, to the 12, he's the best. Say more. I am Hercules Mulligan, up in the loving it. Yes, I heard your mother say, come again. Of course, you're talking having to course of the 4 center course.
Sex for me and other brews. I'm the trace a couple more.
Well, if it ain't the prodigy of Bristol College,
Give us a verse, drop some knowledge.
enough with that, you're taking a stand. You sit, I'ma sit, we'll see where we land.
The revolution's imminent, what do you stall for? If you stand for nothing, Burr, what will you fall for?
Who are you? Who is this kid? What's he gonna do?
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm gonna get a scholarship to King's College, but probably shouldn't be like the tag. Our names and astonish. The problem is that I got brains with no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard with every word. I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough. A shiny piece of coal, trying to reach my goal. A power speech, unimpeachable. Only 19, but my mind is over. These New York City streets get cold. I show for every burden, every disadvantage. I've learned to manage. I have a gun to brandish. I walk these streets vanish. Fan is to fan this walk into a plane. With them step dogs, let me start out the name. I am the A-M-E-X-A-N-D. We are meant to be the colony that runs independently. While Britain keeps shitting on us endlessly, essentially, they tax us relentlessly. And King George turns around on the spending spree. He ain't never gonna set his descendants free, so there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me.
He says in parentheses.
Don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. I will lay down my life if it sets us free. Eventually, you'll see my ascendancy, and I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my
I just love the dancing.
And I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. It's time to take a shot.
I dream of life without a monarchy. The unrest they brought will lead to anarchy. Anarchy. Are you sad? Are you are? Anarchy. When I fight them at the other side, panicky with my shot. Yo, I'm a Taylor's apprentice, and I got John Knucklehead to local parentis. I'm trying to look rebellion, so know what's my chance of socially advance. Instead, it's always the path that's all I'm taking.
But we'll never be truly free until those in bondage have the same rights as you and me. You and I, you and I. Wait till I sally in on the stallion with the first black battalion of another shot.
Geniuses, lower your voices. You keep out of trouble and you double your choices. I'm with you. But the situation is fraught. You got to be carefully taught. If you talk, you're gonna get shot.
Check what we got. Mr. Lafayette, hard rock like Lancelot. I think your pants look hot. Lawrence, I like you a lot. Touch a pot blacker than the kettle call in the pot. What are the odds that God would put us all in one spot? Puppet swat, conventional wisdom, like it or not. A bunch of revolutionary manumission abolitionists. Give me a position, show me where the ammunition is. But when I'm talking too loud, sometimes I get overexcited. Shoot off the mouth. I never had a group of friends before. I promise that I'll make y'all proud.
Let's get this guy in front of a crowd.
Let's go!
on, let's go. Rise up. When you're living on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When I these felonies gonna 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 rise up. Rise up. I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. When's it gonna get me? In my sleep, 7 feet ahead of me. If I see it coming, do I run or do I let it be? Is it like a beat without a melody? See, I never thought I'd live past 20. Where I come from, some death happens many. Ask anybody why we live it fast. We laugh, reach for the last. We have to make this moment last. That's plenty. Scratch it. This is not a moment, it's the movement. We're up hungry as brothers with something to prove. Wait, those oppose us. We take an honest stand. We roll like Moses, claiming our honest land. Yeah. We win our independence, every guarantee of freedom for our descendants. But with the blood we shed, begin an endless cycle of vengeance and death with no dependence. I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. We need to handle our financial situation. We a nation, a state of the state of our nation. The past patiently weaken the passionate, national free expectation. Every action is an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of capitalism. For the first time, I'm thinking past tomorrow. We don't have time to take a shot. We don't have time to take a shot. We don't have time to take a shot. Time to take a shot. Time to take a shot. Take a shot.
Lin-Manuel said that that's the only rap that you gotta learn, which is the master Alten. That's the number one. He says that there's one rap for every single character, and you gotta learn.
Except Washington, he doesn't really rap.
Well, yeah, but you gotta get one.
I may not live to see our glory. I may not live to see our glory. But I will gladly join the fight. But I will gladly join the fight. And when our children tell our story, when our children tell our story, they'll tell the story of tonight. Let's have another round tonight. Let's have another round tonight. Another round tonight. Raise a glass of freedom. Something they can never take away, no matter what they tell you. Raise a glass to the four of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us telling the story of tonight. Raise a glass to freedom. Something they can never take away, no matter what they tell you. Let's have another round tonight. Raise a glass to the four of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us telling the story of tonight. Let's have another round tonight. Let's tell the story of tonight. Raise a glass to freedom. Let's tell the story of tonight. Raise a glass to freedom. Let's tell the story of tonight.
Who they had to it?
There's nothing rich folks love more than going downtown and slumming it with the poor. They pull up in their carriages.
All right, Chris, thoughts so far?
Take Philip Johnson, loaded. Uh-oh, but little does he know that his daughter's Peggy and Angelica Eliza sneaking in the city just to watch other guys.
Angelica, Eliza, Angelica, Eliza. Daddy said to be home by sundown. Daddy doesn't need to know. Daddy said not to go downtown. Like I said, you're free to go. Look around the revolution.
It's funny how she plays me in the
Bad enough, Daddy wants to go to war. Shouting in the square. Bad enough, there'll be islands on our shore. Your ideas in the air. Look around. Remind me what we're looking for.
She's looking for me, Eliza. I'm looking for a mind in the work. I'm looking for a mind in the work. I'm looking for a mind in the work. Wow, 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 wow. There's nothing like summer in the city. Someone in a restaurant and someone looking pretty. Excuse me, this I know it's not funny, but your perfume smells like your daddy's got money. But you're summer in the city in your fancy hair. Searching for an urchin who can give you ideals.
Sure, you disgust me.
Oh, so you disgust me. I'm a trust fund, baby. You can trust me.
Common sense, but I'm pain. So men say that I'm intense or I'm insane. You want a revolution, I want a revelation. So listen to my declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. And when I become a separate signal, I will compel them to intrude when we need the sequel. Look around, I'm looking for the middle line right now. Look around, how are you alive right now? History is happening, and rapidly it's happened to be the greatest city in the world. It's the greatest city in the world. Nothing now, it's in the now. Let's go and take it to
Peggy's trash. Team versus Peggy.
My name is Samuel Stevens.
This is another one that I
Represent three thoughts on the proceedings of the Continental Congress.
Heed not the babble, scream evolution.
They have not your interest at heart.
Oh my God, tear this dude apart.
Chaos and bloodshed are not a solution.
Do let them lead you astray.
This Congress does not speak for me.
Let it be.
They play a dangerous game. I pray the King to his mercy. Shame, shame.
Yeah, heed not you all unravel in the sound of screams, but the revolution is coming. Now I'm not gonna win this. It's hard to listen to you with a straight face. Chaos and bloodshed already lost. Honestly, you shouldn't even talk. And what about Boston? You look at the cost and all that we lost, and you talk about
Congress does not speak.
my dog speaks more eloquently than me. But strangely, your mind is the same.
To his mercy.
See in Jersey? For the revolution! For the revolution! You repeat yourself again. I'm gonna scream. Honestly, look at me, Prince.
So read not your interest.
Don't modulate the key, then not debate with me. Why should a tiny island across the sea regulate the price of tea?
Alexander, please.
For I'd rather be divisive than indecisive. Drop the niceties.
A message from the king. A message from the king. A message from the king.
I love that shot.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea, but you hurl in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you see. You remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You remember remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da.
Yeah, you heard this one with decent amount.
This is the third song that I listened to this.
You say our love is draining and you can't go on. You'll be the one complaining when I am gone. And now don't change the subject.
Passion.
My favorite subject, my sweet submissive subject, my royal subject, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Be back like before. I will fight the fight and win the war for your love, for your praise, and I'll love
I apologize if you hear a barking.
when you're gone, I'll get mad, so don't throw away this thing we have. Cause when push comes to shove, I will kill your family.
Probably won't believe I can watch it.
As you came to the Caribbean, I wished you were real. I knew that I was poor, I knew it was the only way to rise up. If they tell my story, I am either gonna die on the battlefield in glory or rise up. We will fight for this land. There's only one man who can give us a command so we can rise up. Understand, it's the only way to rise up, rise up. Here he comes. Here comes the general.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here comes the general.
the moment you've been waiting for.
Here comes the general.
The pride of Mount Vernon.
Here comes the
George Washington. We are outgunned, outplanned, outplanned. We got Lincoln all outstanding. And yo, I'm gonna need a right hand man.
Can I be real a second? Just a millisecond. Let down my guard and tell the people how I feel a second. Now I'm the model of a modern major general, the renovated Virginian veteran, whose men are all lining up to put me up on a pedestal, write letters to relatives embellishing my arrogance and eloquence. But the elephant is in the room, the truth is in your face. When you hear the British cannons go, any hope for success is fleeting. How can I keep leading when the people I'm leading keep retreating? We put a stop to the bleeding as the British take Brooklyn. And I take Brooklyn. Look, we are outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. Cause take a stand with the stand and I got his friend and his Hamilton on the pen. She got us till the cannons. Watch the blood in the ship spray. And then we're abandoning kids say. And the shipping. Still the tipping. We can't afford another slip. Guns and horses, giddy up. I decided to giddy up my forces. This skittish as the British got the city up. This folks are giving them. Facing mass scrutiny. I scream in the face of this mass mutiny. But he's still in which I don't think I've seen in America. Right at midnight, Manhattan in the distance. I can know everywhere at once. People, I'm in dire need of assistance.
Your Excellency, sir. Aaron Burr, sir. Permission to state my case, as you were. Sir, I was a captain under General Montgomery until he caught a bullet in the neck. Back, well, in summary, thinks that I could be of some assistance. Admire how you keep firing on the British from a distance. I have some questions, a couple of suggestions on how to fight instead of fleeing west.
Yes, well, Your Excellency, you wanted to see me? Hamilton, come in. Have you met Burr?
Yes, sir, we keep meeting. As I was saying, sir, I look forward to seeing your strategy play out.
Burr, sir, close the door on your way out. Have I done something wrong, sir? On the contrary, I called you here because our odds are beyond scary. Your reputation precedes you, but I have to laugh. Sir. Hamilton, how come no one can get you on their staff? Sir. Don't get me wrong, you're a young man of great renown. I know you stole British cannons when we were still downtown. Nathaniel Greene and Henry Knox wanted to hire you. To be their secretary, I don't think so. Well, why are you upset? I'm not. It's all right. You want to fight. You've got a hunger. It's just like you when I was younger. Head full of fantasies of dying like a martyr. Yes, dying is easy. Young man living is harder. Why are you telling me this? I'm being honest. I'm working with a third of what our Congress has promised. We are a powder keg about to explode. I need someone like you to light the load. So? I am not throwing away my shot, son. We are outgunned. I need all the help you can get. I have some friends, Lauren, Morgan, Martina, Lafayette, okay, what else? I'm not dead out there. I need some spies on the inside, some kingsmen who might get some things smart. Went to Congress and tell them we need supplies. You rally the guys, has to be elements of surprise. I'm not my station, organize your information till we rise to the occasion of our new nation. General, rise up, General, rise up, General, rise up, General. Like his right hand man. Ooh.
I'm feeling the urge to clap, and then feel bad.
Son of a whore, go on and on, grow into more of a phenomenon. Watch this obnoxious, arrogant, loudmouth father be seated at the right hand of the father. Washington hires Hamilton right on sight. Hamilton still wants to fight, not right. Now Hamilton's skill is a quill and undeniable, but what do we have in common? We're reliable. We're the ladies. There too many to devour. Ladies. Look, creativity to power. Ladies. They delighted and distracted. Arthur Washington named her feral tomcat after him.
That's true.
1780, a winter's ball, and the Schuyler sisters are the envy of all. Yep, you could marry a sister, rich son.
Is it a question of inverb or which one?
Look into your eyes in the sky, helpless. Down for the count and I'm drowning. I have never been the type to try and grab the spotlight. We were at a rebel with some rebels on a hot night. Laughing at my sister as she's dancing in the room. Then you walked in and my heart went boom. Trying to catch your eye from the side of the phone. Everybody's dancing and the band's not holding. You're this one's mine. Ooh, the sister made her way across the room to you. Got a nerves thinking what she gonna do. She got you by the arm and took it on through. Then you look back at me and suddenly I'm helpless. Oh, I feel nice, so tired, I'm helpless. I'm down, and around. I'm so into you. I'm so into you. Helpless. When you're down to the ground and I'm drowning.
Where are you taking me?
I'm about to change your life.
By all means, lead the way.
This is Skylar. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Skylar,
My sister. Thank you for all your service.
if it takes fighting a war for us to meet, it will have been worth it.
I'll leave you to it. 1 week later, I'm writing a letter note. Now my life is better. Every letter that you write. My sister.
Well, I'm gonna throw a
And
shoe.
if you really loved me, you would share a 2 weeks later in the living room stressing. My father's stone faced while you're asking for a blessing. I'm crying inside as you whine and dine. And I'm trying not to cry, cause there's nothing that your mind can't do. My father makes his way across the room to you. I panic for a second, but he's been through. But then he shakes your head and says, be true. And you turn back to me,
I don't have a dollar to my name, an acre of land, a true command, a dollar for fame, all I ask my honor, a tolerance for pain, a couple of college credits and my top-notch brain insane. Your family brings out a different side of me. Peggy confides in me. Angelica tried to take a bite of me. No stress, my love for you is never in doubt. We'll get a little place in Harlem and we'll figure it out. I've been living without a family since I was a child. My father left, my mother died. I grew up wild, but I'll never forget the mother space that was real. As long as I'm alive, I swear to God you'll never feel that.
I know that because she just seems like she's having an on day with this, and I'm like, I'm so excited for later on. Yeah.
Let's just leave performances coming in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, no.
Now everyone, give it up for the maid of honor, Angelica Schuyler!
A toast to the groom,
To the groom, to the groom,
to the bride, from your sister. It's always by your side.
Just say it. No. I'm holding it back. I'm saving it.
just like the
Yeah.
I remember that night, I just might regret that night for the rest of my days. I remember those soldier boys drifting over themselves to win our praise. I remember that dream like candlelight, like a dream that you can my face. But Alexander, I'll never forget the first time I saw your face. I have never been the same. Intelligent eyes in a hunger pain frame. And when you did I forgot my dang name, set my heart aflame, every part of flame. This is not a game.
Like me, as a woman who has never been satisfied.
I'm sure I don't
say that.
forget yourself.
Like me, I'm never satisfied. I've never been satisfied.
My name is Angelica Skyler.
Alexander Hamilton.
Where's your phone?
Unimportant, there's a million things I haven't done. Just you, just you.
No. So this is what it feels like to match with someone at your level. What the hell is the catch? It's the feeling of freedom, of feeling like it's and person with the key and it's tight. You see it right. The conversation lasts 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Everything we said in total agreement. It's the dream and it's a bit of a dance. A bit of a posture, it's a bit of a dance. It's a bit of a flirt, but I'm gonna give it a chance. I asked about his family. Did you see his answer? His hands started fidgeting. He looked at his fans. His pennies, he's flying by the seat of his pants. Handsome, but where does he know it? Peach fuzz, and he can't even grow it. I wanna take him far away from this place, but I turn and see my sister's face, and she is living. Oh, she has lived. Her eyes are just lit, and I realize 3 fundamental truths at the exact same time.
Where are you taking me?
I'm about to change your life.
By all means, lead the way.
I'm a girl in a world in which my only job is to marry rich. My father has no son, so I'm the one who has the social guide for one. I'm the oldest and the wittiest, and the gossip in New York City is, and the city is, and Alexander is penniless. That doesn't mean I want to marry her. Elizabeth Schuyler, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Schuyler.
My sister. He's after me, it's my sister, that elevates his satisfy. Has to be naive to set that aside. Maybe that is why I introduced him to Eliza. Now that's his bride. Nice sewing and glad he was right. He will never be satisfied. Thank you for all your service.
It takes fighting the war for us to meet it, Elizabeth.
I'll leave you to it. I know my sister like I know my own mind. You will never find anyone as trusting or as kind. If I tell her that alone, she'd be privately resigned. She'd be fine. She would say I'm fine. She'd be lying. But when I fantasize at night, it's Alexander's eyes as I romanticize. What might it have been if I hadn't sized too much so quickly? At least, my dear Eliza's his wife. At least I keep his eyes in my life.
You can see the action.
That's hard to reverse.
Let's say you have practice.
Yeah. I mean, I was had
Oh, I know.
we did minimal stuff, but still, it was weird.
I will never be satisfied. I will never be satisfied.
They're standing up. They usually don't stand up for me, you know, but
You can see the
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
That's what does.
yeah.
I may not live to see our glory.
I may not live to see our glory.
But I've seen wonders great and small.
I've seen wonders great and small.
Cause if the tomcat can get mad,
If Alexander can get married,
so far
rest after all, read the gospel read out.
hey, something you will never see again.
No matter what she tells you, let's have another round tonight.
Pass to the four of us.
To the newly not poor of us.
I had that as my background for a long time.
I didn't think that you would make it.
Be sure.
I
came to say congratulations.
Spit a verse.
I see the whole gang is here.
You're the worst.
Congrats to you, Lieutenant Colonel. I wish I had your command instead of manning George's journal.
Well, you know, now be sensible. From what I hear, you've made yourself indispensable.
Wow.
Well, I heard you got a special someone on this life.
I should go.
No need, you should go. Leave us alone. It's all right. You brought this girl with you tonight.
You're very kind, but I'm afraid it's unlawful, sir.
What do you mean?
She's married. She's married to a British officer.
Oh, shit.
Smile. See you on the other side of the war.
I will never understand. If you love this woman, go get her. What are you waiting for?
See you on the other side of the war.
See you on the other side of the war.
Theodosia writes me a letter every day. Keeping the bed warm while her husband is away. He's on the British side of Georgia. He's trying to keep the colonies in line. Well, he can keep all of Georgia. Theodosia, she's mine. Love doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes, and we keep loving anyway. We laugh, we cry, we break, and we make our mistakes. And there's a reason I'm by his side. So many you try, and I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. My grandfather was a fire and brimstone preacher. There are things that the homilies and hymns won't teach you. My mother was a genius. My father commanded respect. When they died, they left no instructions. Just a legacy to protect. Death doesn't discriminate. The sinners are the same. It takes. You keep living anyway. Rise and fall and break and make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm still alive, I'm everyone who loves me died. I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. I'm the one thing in life I can control. I am inimitable, I am an original. I'm not falling behind or running late. I'm not standing still, I am riding. I was in faces and they let something fly. He got something to prove, he got nothing to lose. Space takes really easy, waste no time. There's a like in his shoes.
Oh, no shot.
Hamilton doesn't hesitate. He exhibits no restraint. Takes. He keeps winning on. Changes the game. Plays and he raises the stakes, and if there's a reason he seems to thrive, and so few survive, then goddamn it, I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. Life doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes. Reason I'm still alive, so many times, and I'm willing to.
Perfect timing.
General so despondent, I am taking over writing all his correspondence. Congress writes, George attacked the British forces. I should back, we have resorted to eating our horses. Local merchants deny us equipment, assistance, they only take British money. So sing a song at 6 pence. Cavalry's not come. Alex, listen. There's only one way for us to win this. Outright. On the gauge, strike by night. Remain relentless till their troops take flight. Make it impossible to justify the cost of the man. Outrun, outlast. Hit 'em quick, get out fast. Stay alive until this whole show is past. We're gonna fly a lot of flags, half-mast. Raise a glass. Go back to New York and my apprenticeship.
I asked for French aid, I played it from the censorship. I stay at work with Hamilton, we write essays against slavery, and every day's a test of our camaraderie and bravery.
So we cut supply lines, we steal contraband, we pick and choose our battles and places to take a stand. And every day, sir, entrust me with command. And every day, no, he dismisses me out of hand. Instead of me, he promotes John Lee, makes him something in command.
I'm a general.
Yeah, not the choice I would have gone with. He shakes the bed at the Battle of London.
What are you doing? Being back on your feet. So many are there.
This is not your speed. Hamilton, stand up for you, take the lead.
Shout out the soldiers die in 100-degree heat as we snatch our stalemates from the jaws of defeat.
Charles Lee was left behind without a pot of kissing. He started saying this to anybody who would listen.
Washington did nothing left alone with devices. Indecisive from crisis to crisis. The best thing he could do for the revolution is turn and go back to planting tobacco and not voting.
Don't do a thing. History will prove it wrong. But sir, we have a war to fight. Let's move along.
Strong words from Lee, someone ought to hold him to it.
I can't disobey direct order.
And I'll do it.
Do not throw away your shot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's a 10-year-old commandment. It's a 10-year-old commandment. Number 1, the challenge, demand satisfaction. If they apologize, no need for further action. Number 2, if they don't, grab a friend, that's your second.
The lieutenant, when there's reckoning to be reckoned.
Number 3,
Have your seconds, meet face to face.
negotiate a peace.
Or negotiate the time and place.
This is time and place, match between groups.
No disputes, no one shoots.
If they don't reach a peace, that's alright. Time to get some pistols in the doctor room site.
Pay them in advance, to treat them with civility.
Have them turned around so we can have deniability.
Go before the sun is in the sky.
Even though to your next to kin, tell them where you've been. Pray that heaven lets you in.
Discussions ready for the moments of adrenaline. We're just feature of hope.
Last chance to negotiate. Send in your second to your state and set the record straight. Alexander,
Sir,
we agree the duels are never sure.
sure, but your man has to answer for his words, bro.
With his life, we both know that's absurd, sir.
Hang on, how many men died because Lee was inexperienced and ruinous?
Okay, so we're doing this.
Look him in the eye, ain't no higher, summoning all the courage you require.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Number 10, basic time. Lee, do you yield?
You shot him in the side, yes, he healed. I'm satisfied, we gotta clear the field.
Go, we won.
Here comes the general.
Mission. What is the meaning of this? Mr. Berg, get a medic for the general.
Yes, sir.
Lee, you will never agree with me, but believe me, these young men don't speak for me. Thank you for your service.
Let's ride.
Yeah, sir, meet me inside.
So, like all these fish wars, hard enough without infighting. He calls you out. He called us tough. You solve nothing. You aggravate our allies to the south. Absolutely right. John should have shot him in the mouth. That would have shut him up. So, we're not your son. Watch your tone. I am not a maiden in need of defense. Thomas Conway, these men take your name and they break it through the mud.
My name's been through a lot. I can take.
Well, I don't have your name. I don't have the titles. I don't have your land. But if you gave me command of a battalion, group of men to lead, I could fly over my station after the war.
Or you could die, and we need you
I
alive.
am more than willing to die.
Your wife needs you alive, son. I need you
Call
alive.
me son one more time. Hold, Alexander. That's an order from your commander. So go home.
Months ago, I begged him to send you home. I'm not sorry. I'm not fighting to the bone. There's one chance, second chance to meet your son. Look around, how lucky you are to be alive right now.
Relish being poor man's wife, unable to provide for poor life.
Relish being your wife. Look around, at where you are, at where you started. The fact that you're alive is a miracle. Just stay alive, don't be enough. And if this child shares a fraction of your smile, or a fragment of your mind, don't be enough. Tell me to know the challenges you're facing, the worlds you keep erasing and creating in your mind. But I'm not afraid. I know who I marry, as long as you come home at the end of the day. Don't be enough. Don't need a legacy. We don't need money. If you could choose of mind, if you could let me inside your heart, oh, let me be a part of the narrative, in the story they will write someday. Let this moment be the first chapter, where you decide to stay.
How does a ragtag volunteer army in need of a shower somehow defeat a global superpower? How do we emerge victorious from the quagmire, leave the battlefield waving that zeros' flag higher? Yo, turns out you have a secret weapon, an immigrant you know and love who's unafraid to step in. He's constantly confusing, confounding the greatest henchman. Everyone give it up for America's favorite fighting friend.
I'm shit. I'm southern bad shit.
We rendezvous with Rochambeau.
That's a bitch, right?
We can end this war at Yorktown. Cut them off at sea, but for this to succeed, it's someone else we need.
Remake?
The
I'm waiting in the field for you. If you join us right now, together we can turn the tide. Oh, Alexander Hamilton, I have soldiers waiting for you. If we manage to get this right, they'll surrender by early light. The world will never be the same.
Them eyebrows stuff.
When I was given my first command, led my men straight into a massacre. Witnessed their deaths firsthand. Every mistake, and felt the shame rise in me. Even now I lie awake, knowing history has its eyes on me. History has its eyes on me. Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control who lives, who dies, who tells your story. I know that we can win. I know that greatness lies in you. But remember from here on in, history has its eyes on history has its eyes on.
Battle of Yorktown, 1781.
Monsieur Hamilton!
Monsieur Lafayette!
In command where you belong.
Are you saying no sweat? We're finally on the field. We've had quite a run.
Immigrants.
We get the job done.
Every freedom to my people is not given a chance.
We'll be with you when you do.
Go, lead your men.
See you on the other side.
Here we be.
I am not going my shop. I am not going away my shop. Anyone just let my country and else happy and free, and I'm not going away my shop. I am not going away my shop. Till the world turns upside down. Till the world turns upside down. My imagine got so much it feels more like a memory. This is where it gets me. I'ma be the enemy, you're hurting me. If this is the end of me, at least I have a friend with me. Weapon in my hand, it commands and I'm men with me. Then I remember my Eliza's expecting me. Not only that, my Eliza's expecting me. We gotta go, gotta get the job done. Gotta start a new nation, gotta meet on the show. Take the bullets out your gun, all the bullets out your gun. When you undercover, when we leave as one. Through the night, we have one shot to live another day. We cannot let a stray gunshot give us away. We will fight up close, see the moment is staying it. It's either not a meet the business end of a bayonet. All words, Watchalong, take me Watchalong. Look at what is down, go and go. So the American experiment begins. My friends all scattered to the winds. Boys in South Carolina, redefining bravery. We'll never be free until we end slavery. When we finally drop the British away, my head is there waiting in Chesapeake Bay. How did we know that this plan would work? Yes, but I on the inside, that's why I believe.
That's my fellow British government. I take the measurements, information, and I smuggle it. To my workers, level
of shit. Every confident I'm wrong with the sun of the tears. I am nothing. Shit after happens when you walk against the perfect ends. We in the shit now. Somebody's gotta shuffle it. Hercules smiling and I need an introduction when you knock me down. I get the shit back up.
I dig it. I dig it. Is it covered with a shot? Or was that a record scratch?
I think it's just really
After a week of fighting, a young man in a red coat stands on a parapet.
We lower our guns as he frantically waves their white handkerchief.
And just like that it's over, we tend to our wounded, we count our dead. Black and white soldiers wonder alike if this really means freedom.
Not yet. We negotiate the terms of surrender. I see George Washington smile. We escort the men out of your town. They stagger home single file. Tens of thousands of people flood the streets. There are screams and church bells ringing. And as a fallen foes retreat, I hear the drinking song they're singing.
See, personally, I think that they need more wide shots. That's the only thing that I'm saying. They need more of the full stage.
They say the price of my war's not a price that they're willing to pay. Insane! You cheat with the French, now I'm fighting with France and Spain. I'm so blue. I thought that we made an arrangement when you went away. You were mine to subdue. Well, even despite our estrangement, I've got a small query for you. What comes next? You've been freed. Do you know how hard it is to lead? You're on your own. Awesome. Wow. Do you have a clue what happens now? Oceans rise, empires fall. It's much harder when it's for your call. All alone across the sea. When your people say they hate you, don't come crawling back to me. Da 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 da. You're on your own. If you don't know what to say, you have my eyes, you have your mother say, when you came to the world, you cried, I'm dedicated every day. My street life was never like my style when you smile.
Without me, I would have fallen apart. But I was so smart. You will courage with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. If we build a strong foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you. You'll know us someday. Someday, someday. Yeah, you'll know us someday. Someday, someday.
Philip, when you smile, I am undone. My son, look at my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for. There is so much more inside me now. Oh, Philip, when you outshine the morning sun. My son, when you smile, I fall apart. And I thought I was so smart. My father wasn't around. Swear that I'll be around for you. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll make a million mistakes. I'll make the world safe and sound for you. We'll rage with our young nation. We'll be it right for you. We'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you, and you'll blow us away. Someday, someday, yeah, you'll blow us away. Someday, someday.
I may not live to see our goals.
Is it letter from
It's from John Morton's already there.
But I will gladly join.
No, it's from his father.
His father.
And when the children tell our story,
Are you reading?
they'll tell the story of tonight.
On Tuesday, the 22nd, my son was killed in a gunfight against British troops retreating from South Carolina. The war was already over. As you know, John dreamed of emancipating and recruiting 3,000 men for the first all-black military regiment. His dream of freedom for these men dies with him.
Tomorrow there'll be more of us.
Alexander, I'm all right.
I have so much work to do.
After the war, I went back to New York.
After the war, I went back to New York.
I finished up my studies and I practiced law.
I practiced law. Where work next door.
Even though we started at the very same time, Alexander Hamilton began to climb. How to account for his rise to the top? Man, the man is not.
Gentlemen of the jury, a curious bear with me. Are you aware that we're making history? This is the first murder trial of our brand new nation, the liberty behind the liberation. It's a proof beyond the shadow of a doubt with my assistant counsel.
Go, Counsel Hamilton, sit down. My client every week is innocent. Call your first witness. That was all you had to say.
Okay, one more thing.
Why do you assume you're the smartest to know? Why do you assume you're the smartest to know? Why do you assume you're the smartest to know?
See that attitude, baby, you're dope. Why do you write like you're running out of time? Write day and night like you're running out of time. Every day you fight like you're running out of time. Keep on fighting in the meantime.
It's such an old song that we can sing along in harmony. And nowhere is it stronger than in Albany. It's colonies, economies increasingly starving. And honestly, that's what public service seems to be calling me. I practiced the law, practically perfected it. I've seen injustice in the world and I've corrected it. Now for a strong central democracy, if not, then I'll be throwing verbal rocks at these mediocrities.
Hamilton and the Constitution will get mentioned.
I was chosen for the Constitution. National Convention.
And the New York Junior Delegate.
Now, what I'm going to say may sound indelicate.
Those that propose this is no form of government. We don't plan for a new form of government. Talks for 6 hours. The convention is listless.
Right, young man. Oh, who the F is this?
Why do you always say what you read? Why do you always say what you read? Every proclamation guarantees free ammunition for your enemies.
Why do you write like it's going out of style? Write day and night like it's going out of style. Every day and night like it's going out of style.
Sir,
What is the
can we confirm? Sir,
It's illegal.
yes, and it's important.
What do you need?
You're a better lawyer than me. I know I talk too much. I'm abrasive. You're incredible in court. You're succinct, persuasive. My client needs a strong defense. You're the solution.
Who's your client?
The new U.S. Constitution.
No.
Hear me out.
No way.
A series of essays anonymously published defending the document to the public.
No one will read it.
I disagree.
And if it fails,
That's why we need it.
Constitution's a mess.
So it needs amendments.
It's full of contradictions.
So is independence. We have to start somewhere.
No way.
You're making a mistake.
Night.
Hey, what are you waiting for? What do you stall for?
What?
We won the war. What was it all for? Do you support this Constitution?
Of course.
Then defend it.
And what if you're backing the wrong horse?
We studied it. We fought. We killed for the notion of a nation we now get to build. For once in your life, take a stand with pride. I don't understand how you stand to the side.
I'll keep all my hands close to my chest. I'll wait and see which way the wind will go. I'm taking my time watching the afterbirth of revelation, watching tension grow.
I am sailing up to London. I'm accompanied by someone who always pays. I have found a wealthy husband who will keep me in comfort for all my days. He is not a lot of fun, but there's no one who can match you for turn of praise. My Alexander, don't forget to write where you are, where you started. The fact that you're alive is a miracle. Just stay alive, be enough. If your wife could share a fraction of your time, if I could grant you peace of mind, would it be enough?
Alexander joins forces with James Madison and John Jay to write a series of essays defending the new United States Constitution entitled the Federalist Papers. The plan was to write a total of 25 essays that were divided evenly among the three sections. In the end, they were 85 essays, a span of 6 months. John Jay got sick after writing 5. James Madison wrote 29. Hamilton wrote the other 51. How do you write like you're running out of time? Write day and night like you're running out of time. When do you fight like you're running out of time? Running out of time, running out of time. How do you write like tomorrow won't arrive? How do you write like you need it to survive? How do you write like the second you're alive? Like the second you're alive, like the second you're alive.
They're asking me to leave. I'm doing the best I can to get the people that I need. Ask me to be my right hand. Treasury force, I know it's a lot to ask. Treasury force to leave behind the world. You, sir, do you want me to run the Treasury or State Department? Treasury. Let's go.
Alexander,
I have to leave.
Alexander,
Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. They are asking me to leave.
look around. Is this enough? He will never be satisfied. He will never be satisfied. Satisfied.
Mystery of
this. We're actually going to hit pause at the 45-second mark of the intermission because a 1-minute intermission is not enough to get whatever business you need to get done, especially when there's 4 people. So we're going to take an intermission right here, and then when we get back, we will share our thoughts so far on the show. So I know there's a bathroom right here, so guys, if you got to go.
Chris, if you got to go to the bathroom here.
Oh. Whoa. We lost Chris. Hold on.
Or he dropped out to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
there we
he's
go.
coming back.
I'm going to drop out to go to the bathroom.
There we go. I thought we lost
Sorry, I couldn't hear y'all.
I was just talking about the intermission that we're taking. We're extending it a little bit, that we paused it at 45 because 1 minute's not a lot to get what you need done because you got to walk and you got to go. Who knows what you got to do? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, we're just going to cool it.
Probably just
we're going to hang out for a second.
Yeah. So how you feeling right now, Chris?
Yo, this is great. It's so good. Oh my God. I can't. I know what I was expecting going into it. I honestly didn't. After listening to I've only listened to the music. I didn't know about the stage, the little circle guy. Like I didn't know any of this. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I love it. It's great. It's everything that I wanted it to be. At least it's making me feel good. I'm visualized. Like I've always listened to the songs. I visualized what's going on, and now I can finally have a vivid image of what these characters are saying and what they're doing, the emotions that they're conveying. It's great. It's so good.
And that was my big thing the first time I watched this. I'm like, you can actually see because even though I saw it live, Lou, you can even attest to this. Sometimes you can't see how a person's feeling or how they're saying something. You can hear it.
That's when you got to buy those stage binoculars. But,
right.
I mean, you can actually see the performance and you can actually feel
the emotion.
Yeah.
And the recording, like I'll still listen to the recording, but like this is like premiere type stuff right here. It's the cream of the crop. It's nice to put those emotions and everything to just how they're really feeling. So
I think that's the blessing of having these movies.
Yes.
And I mean, I keep on thinking throughout this entire thing, every single play, if it gets on Broadway, it needs to have one of these professional recordings, just for history's sake.
Yes, and right now I can only think of 2 or 3 that have them.
I think Les Mis might have one.
Les Mis is a concert though. It's not. They're all just standing at mics. I've seen it.
No. I think didn't they have a Nick Jonas one or no?
No.
Okay, then never mind. They might have done for the Tonys or something.
Yeah.
But I know Phantom
has Royce Albert Hall. Rent has the final performance.
Okay.
Who
didn't Newsies have one?
Yeah, Newsies.
Yeah,
that's
Newsies
on the Newsies has one. This one. I think Cats may have one.
Yes.
Yeah. So
from way back in the day.
So we're at 5 right now.
Yeah, I really think that if you do the original cast, because you'll never see this cast ever again, right. And you'll never see Lynn doing Hamilton unless it's for a fundraiser or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is like it, He is one of the best Hamiltons ever, and
he is the best Hamilton.
He is Hamilton.
He is Hamilton, and I think that just for history's sake, we have the technology, we have all of it to do this, and we need it for it.
Yeah.
I mean, theater kids in the future to realize that this was a phenomenon.
Yeah, and I mentioned this during the actual performance, but this is actually 3 of the final shows that the original cast did cut together as one performance. So, and I know when I said that to Lou, he's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I did read something how they, I think it was like a week or the weekend, that the original cast got back together, and they recorded all 3 shows, and this is just an amalgamation of essentially all the best parts. So
you can't tell. It's
no, you can't.
Seamless.
You cannot tell at all.
But I'm really curious as to see in my mind, because I know that when saying this is the Hamilton you're going to get, but down the line I can see this as this really interesting and intricate film adaptation that uses one shot to its advantage.
You think they would actually do a one shot?
What I mean by like you'd have effects and whatnot that would work as your cuts.
Yeah, like 1917.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the way Hamilton's made, you could pull something off like that, especially with the explosions and things like that. So I don't know.
The one thing that I think about when I heard Hamilton movie, I thought it was going to be kind of like Lincoln or something, where they try to make it as realistic as possible, and I don't know if that would be the best way to do it.
No,
to make it realistic sets and all that. I think that the stage version just, I don't know, it's its own thing, and I think that's the most important part.
I think something like what the that new screen technology that Disney starting to utilize on numerous projects. Chris, the Mandalorian screen technology, something like that that's the only way. Something like that would work in Hamilton's advantage, where it's all just a digital background that you can't even tell is fake.
I've only seen half of this thing, but I don't want a movie. I feel like this is the closest to a movie that we're gonna get. I know that In the Heights was supposed to come out this summer, and I am over the moon about that damn movie. I cannot wait next summer. But that's a different case because obviously, like, it wasn't shot like this. Like, Into the Heights wasn't a phenomenon like Hamilton was. This was shot 4 years ago. They did this 4 years ago, and they're releasing it in 2020, and it's still extremely popular. We haven't seen anything like Hamilton in a while, and we probably won't for a bit because Hamilton's still the shit. But I don't want a movie, at least not now.
I'm not saying now. I'm talking about maybe
the movie adaptation that we're gonna get. At least if I want to know what Lynn feels about a possible movie, like a proper film. But I feel like this is the best and the closest we're gonna get.
I mean, he made $75 million off of this alone.
You're right. But this wasn't released the way it was that Disney intended to. This was supposed to be in a movie theater.
I know.
I would have loved to see the box office for that too. If it would have made the hundreds of millions.
I would have been there.
I would have dressed up as Hamilton.
But
I just think that there would be pitfalls with a movie because watching this, and I kind of wanted to hold this back until the end, but just watching it and seeing the ensemble members, you're falling in love with the ensemble as well. In a film, there's rules or whatever where, we have all these extras. You don't fall in love with even the extras.
Right.
You know? Just the ensemble even. That's why it's so hard to say what part would you want when
you'd be okay being part of the ensemble.
I would love being part of the ensemble because there's just different costume changes. You could be different parts, and it's
I mean, we've seen the girl's father as he was Hamilton's father, then he was the girl's father, and he was a British soldier, and then he was
Charles Lee was dancing around and all that. I mean, you could say, "Oh, look, that's the same person as that," and I think
that's really going to hit even more home in the second act. Which, before we start the second act, I'm actually going to take my break and I want to hear Nick's thoughts as the person who has like little background on this. So,
well, I'll start off by saying this: whether you like it or not, it's going to get made into a movie, in my opinion. Whether you like it or not, it's just money's going to talk, and Disney's going to see how well this does, and it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it's announced within the next few months, to be honest, that they're in production on it. That being said, I love it so far. I think it's great. I love the performances. I'm falling in love with the characters just as I kind of expected I would. I think that the editing is extremely good, and that's where I'm coming from a filmmaking standpoint. I think that as important as the performance is, when you're bringing something like this to the screen, you need the shots to be the absolute best choices that you possibly can, and I think that they've nailed every single one of them. but no, I'm recognizing songs everywhere that I've heard a million times around my house. Some that I thought were in other shows, like I thought King George's was from another thing, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I really like what I'm seeing. I think that the characters are excellent. As I said before, I have a crush on Lin-Manuel Miranda, so
I have a crush on
That's
every
it.
person.
I mean, that's what I say, so
Like, that's unfair. Like,
I am starting to kind of piece together the story from when I was in school. You know, remembering certain things like, oh, this is probably going to happen next. I think it's impossible, but the parents are watching it upstairs and are somehow farther along than we are.
Grandma started before we did.
Anyways, thank you. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to part 2.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna end up going to the bathroom, but I mean, I don't have to worry about like missing anything because I've listened to this.
The one thing I want to say before we continue with this for the second act. Oh my God! I believe her name's Renee Elise Goldsberry.
Yep.
Incredible. She's great, and I already love Satisfied, but watching her do Satisfied,
Angelica.
it's fantastic. It was my favorite. It was my favorite bit of the first act.
Yeah, Christian. If you loved her in this, you need to watch the Rent final Broadway performance. She plays Mimi in that, and she's fantastic in that also. Like,
and she guest starred on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist that I watched, and she was great in that too.
wow. All right. Well, Lou said he's going to the bathroom, and he's like, "Go ahead and start without me. I know I'm not missing much." So we're going to do a countdown right here. Counting down from 3. So in 3, 2, 1. So Chris, you got 45 seconds. So now that you have some expectations, what are you expecting in the second act?
I cannot wait to see Say No to This. Say No to This is one of my favorite songs off the entire thing. I tell people that, and it's a real unpopular opinion, I guess, because it's a song about adultery. Spoiler alert. But I really dig it. I cannot wait to see what's it Jasmine Cephas Jones? Like,
yeah.
Her. I can't wait. I want to see how this ends. Dude. It felt like
Peggy. She's Peggy.
No, but I want to see her as Mariah Reynolds. Like I want to. She needs to be fully utilized. Peggy's super slept on, and she's the reason why. Don't sleep.
And here we go.
Don't sleep on Peggy, y'all.
1789. I'm just the bastard, orphan, immigrant, decorated Corvette. Unite the colonies to more debt. Fight the other founding fathers till he has to forfeit. Have it all, lose it all. You ready for more, yeah? Treasury Secretary, Washington's the president. Every American experiment sets a precedent. Not so fast, super kicking off to resist him. System on until we had a two-party system. You haven't met him yet, you haven't had the chance. Cause he's been kicking in as the ambassador to France. So someone's gotta keep the American promise. You simply must be Thomas. Following us to revolution, there is no more status quo. But the sun comes up and the world.
Okay, Google, turn on Buckeye.
Buckeye Power Sales is on 6,850 Commerce Court in Blackfoot and is 128 miles away.
So what did I miss?
Oh my gosh, it's just me.
Thank you. I've been married, reading lots of different ladies. I guess I basically missed the late 80s. I traveled the wide world, came back to this. There's a letter on my desk from the president. Haven't even put my bag down yet, Sally and Bill and darling won't you open it. It says the president assembled in the cabinet, and I agree. The secretary of state, great that I'm already standing approved. I never got
this, but it's priceless.
My favorite James Madison, red in the face. Grab my arm and I respond, what's going on?
Thomas, we're engaged in a battle for our nation's very soul. You get us out, that's where Hamilton's new financial plan is nothing less than government control. I've been fighting for the South alone. Where have you been? We have to win.
What did I miss? What did I miss? Head first into a police station of this. Head first into this. Head first can't be today. I guess I better think of something to say. It's gone my way.
Mr. Jefferson, welcome home.
Mr. Jefferson, welcome home.
That song hits at work.
Especially, I'm like, oh, I love the vaudeville.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us in New York City. Are you ready for our Academy? Please show the tape. Secretary Jefferson's plans to assume state debts and establish a national bank. Secretary Jefferson, you have the floor, sir.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We offer these ideas, we shouldn't settle for less. These are wise words, enterprising men quote them. Don't act surprised, you guys, cause I wrote them. Ow, but Hamilton forgets. His plan will have the government assume state debts. Now place your bets as to who that benefits. The very seat of government where Hamilton sits.
Not true.
Oh, if the shoe fits wearing. If New York's in debt, why should Virginia bear it? Our debts are paid, I'm afraid. Don't tax the South, cause we got it made in the shade. In Virginia, we plant seeds in the ground. We create. You just want to move our money around. This financial plan is an outrageous demand, and it's too many damn pages for any man to understand. Stand with me in the land of the free. Maybe God did never see Hamilton's candidacy. Look, when Britain taxed our tea, we got frisky. Imagine what don't happen when you try to tax our whiskey.
Thank you, Secretary Jefferson. Secretary Hamilton, your response.
Thomas, that was a real nice declaration. Welcome to the prison. We're running a real nation. Would you like to join us? The state I love to hear whatever the hell. We assume the debts, the union gets the new and I'm regretting a financial diuretic. How do you not get it? We're aggressive and competitive. The union gets approved. You'd rather give it a second? A civics lesson from a slaver. Hey neighbor, your debts are paid, but you don't pay for labor. We plant seeds in the South. We create and keep planting. We know who's really doing the planting. Remember this age of enlightenment. Don't lecture me about the war. You didn't liken it. You think I'm fighting you, man? We almost died in the trench, or you were off getting high with the French. Thomas Jefferson always hesitant with the president. Everything, a granny has and jealousy. Madison, you madness a habit, so take your medicine. You're in worse shape than the national. That is it. Sitting there, useless as two shits. Hey, turn around, bend over. I'll show you where my shoe fits. Take a walk. We're going to reconvene after a brief recess. Hamilton, check a word.
You don't have the votes. You don't have the votes. You're gonna need congressional approval and you don't have the votes. Such a blunder. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I even bring the thunder. He even brings the thunder.
Pull yourself together. I'm sorry, these Virginians were birds. Young man, I'm from Virginia, so watch your mouth. So we let Congress get held hostage by the South.
You need to focus.
No, we need bold strokes. We need the
No,
spread.
you need to convince more.
No, James Madison won't talk to me. That's a non-starter.
Winning was easy, young man. Governing's
Let me
harder.
transit.
You have to find a
They
compromise.
don't have a plan. They just hate mine.
Convince them
What
otherwise.
happens if I don't get congressional approval?
I imagine they'll call for your removal.
Sir.
Figure it out, Alexander. Nothing more from your commander.
It's Chris. I broke you finally. I love it.
My dear Senator, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, Crimson is petty case from day to day. I just don't understand the reference to no Scottish tragedy without my having a name to play. They think they got it. Ambition is my folly, I'm a folly man, the pain in the ass of massive pain. Madison is Bangle, Jefferson is McDuff, and Burnham Wood is Congress on its way to Dunsany. They were an ocean away, cast in an ocean away. Thoughts of you subside, and get another earth, and get out of the ocean away.
Take a break.
Molly,
There's a little surprise before supper, and it cannot wait.
I'll be there in just a minute, say bye.
Alexander, your son is 9 years old today. He has something he'd like to say. He's been practicing all day. Philip, take it away.
Daddy, look. My name is Philip. I am a poet. I wrote this poem just to show it. And I just turned 9. You can write rhymes, but you can't write mine.
Oh, no. Richard play piano with my mother, huh? I have a sister, but I want a little brother. My daddy's trying to start America's bank. Just try
Go upstate.
Eliza, I've got so much on my plate.
On the stay with my father, there's a lake I know, even nearby part. You and I can go in the dawn star.
I will try to get away.
Dearest Alexander, you must get through Jefferson. Sit down with him and compromise. It's not till you agree. Your favorite older sister, Angelica reminds you. There's someone in your corner all the way across the sea. Your letter I received from you 2 weeks ago. I noticed a comma in the middle of the phrase. It changed the meaning. Did you intend this? One stroke and you consume my waking days. It says, my dearest Angelica. Comma after dearest, you've written my dearest Angelica. Anyway, I was to say, I'm coming home this summer at my sister's invitation. I'll be there with your family if you make your way upstate. I know you're very busy, I know your work's important, but I'm crossing the ocean and I just can't wait. You won't be an ocean away, we'll only be a moment away. Alexander, come downstairs, and Jessica's arriving today. Angelica,
Skylar, sister.
Alexander, it's good to see your face. Angelica, tell this man John Adams spends the summer with his family.
Angelica, tell my wife John Adams doesn't have a real job anyway.
You're sweet.
I'm afraid I cannot join you upstate.
Alexander, I came all this way. So let me take a break.
You know I have to get my plan to Congress.
Run away with us for the summer, let's go
I
upstate.
lose my job if we don't get this plan.
We all will stay with our fathers, and then I love your way. Taking place, I can go. Alright, take a break, run away for the summer, let's go upstate. We can go. You'll make your
can't stop till I get this plan for Congress.
There's a very quick flash moment right there.
There we go.
Oh snap! Oh no!
Someone under stress meets someone looking pretty. There's trouble in the air. You can smell it. And Alexander's by himself. I'll let him tell you.
I hadn't slept in a week. I was weak. I was awake. You've never seen a bastard orphan more in need of a break. Longing for Angelica, missing my wife. That's when Miss Mariah Reynolds walked into my life. She said,
I know you are a man of honor. I'm so sorry to bother you at home. I don't know where to go. I came here all alone.
She said,
my husband's doing me wrong, beating me, cheating me, mistreating me. Suddenly he's up and gone. I don't have the means to go on.
So I offered her a loan. I offered to walk her home. She said,
you're too kind, sir.
I gave her $30 that I had socked away. She lived a block away. She said,
this one's my concern.
And I said, well, I should head back home. She turned red. She led me to a bed, let her neck spread and said, that's when I began to pray, Lord, show me how to say no to this. I don't know how to say no to this. But my God, she looks so complete. And her body's saying hell yes. I don't know how to say no to this. I don't know how to say no to this. I'm trying to go. And the mouth is on mine, and I don't say no.
Screw you, Peggy!
Oh no! Oh no!
Wish I could say that was the last time. Month into this endeavor, I received a letter from Mr. James Reynolds. Even better, it said,
Dear sir, this letter finds you in good health.
Look, the dad is James Reynolds.
People like me found on their life. You see, that was my
Here's the one.
You made the wrong sucker a cuckold.
That's it?
That's the one.
And hey, you can
I'm not happy with that choice.
All the other ones.
If not, I'm telling you no why.
Oh, good. Thank God.
So I mean,
I was trailed off, yeah.
So this will make the most sense to you because it's so long.
Forgot
stop calling God, tell me,
Damn!
Chris is like celebrating herself.
It sucks. It sucks.
Jesus!
There's nowhere I can go.
So,
nobody needs to know.
Ouch! Ouch!
Move that suit.
Ouch!
And
Big oof.
and
Chris, just think we chose Schmodown instead of this.
Wait, what did he say?
We chose Schmodown over this.
Here's the news about good old General Mercer. It's the Claremont Street. He named it after him. The Mercer legacy is secure. All he had to do was die.
But that's a lot less work.
We ought to give it a try. Now, how you going to get your debt plan through?
I guess I'm gonna finally have to listen to you. Silly. Talk less. Smart. Do whatever it takes to get my plan on the Congress floor.
Madison and Jefferson are merciless. What?
Just the sinner of the sinner. I'm sorry, Bert, I gotta go. Decisions are happening over dinner.
Two Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed. Oh, they emerge with a compromise, having opened doors that were previously closed. The immigrant emerges with unprecedented financial power, a system he can shape however he wants. The Virginians emerge with the nation's capital. And here's the fiesta resistance. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the game is played, the art of the trade, how the sausage is made. We just assume that it happens, but no one else is in the room where it happened.
Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Alexander said,
I have nowhere else to turn.
And basically begged me to join the fray. I approached Madison and said, I know you hate him, but let's hear what he has to say. Well, I arranged the meeting. I arranged the menu, the venue, the seating. But
what else was in the room where it happened? The room where it happened, the room where it happened. So what else was in the room where it happened? The room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the party is yes. The pieces that attack are right in every chest. We just assume that it happened, but no one else is in the room where it happened. Meanwhile, action is grabbing with the fact that not every issue can be settled by committee. Meanwhile, Congress is fighting over where to put the capital. It isn't pretty. The Jefferson approaches with the dinner and invites, and Madison responds with Virginian insights.
Maybe we can solve one problem with another and win a victory for the Southerners. In other words, a quid pro quo. I suppose. Wouldn't you like to work a little closer to home? Actually, I would. Well, I propose the Potomac.
and you'll provide him his vote.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Let's go.
Now.
What else was in the room where it happened? The room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened. The room where it happened, the room where it happened. My God, you got to trust, but I never really know what that discuss. The room where it happened.
And no one else is in the room where it happened. What did they say to you to get you to tell New York City that we go? You Washington know about the dinner and the presidential ration. Or did you know even then it doesn't matter where you put the U.S. Capitol?
Because we'll have the banks. We're in the same spot. And I wanted what I got. When you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. You don't get a win unless you play in the game. Oh, you get nothing for it. You get paid for it. You get nothing if you wait for it. God help us to give me. I want to build something that's gonna outlive me. I just want to
Where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be where it happens, the room where it happens. The room where it Hold your nose and close your eyes. Gonna be the same day. Don't get to say what they trade away. Dream of a better side. What to dream in the dark of the moon. I've got to be in the room. I've got to be in the room. I've got to be in the room. I've got to be in the room.
It's magic. It's magic.
Right. That shot is
I want to go for that.
Huh, Grandpa's in the paper. War hero Philip Schuyler loses Senate seat to young upstart Aaron Burr. Grandpa just lost his seat in the Senate.
Sometimes it's how it goes.
Well, Daddy's gonna find out in a minute.
Everybody knows.
Further down, let's meet the new senator from New York.
New York.
Oh, Senator Burr, since when are you a Democratic Republican?
Since being one put me on the up and up again.
No one knows who you are or what you do.
They don't need to know me, they don't like you.
Excuse me?
Wall Street thinks you're great. You'll always be adored by the things you create, but upstate, when people think you're crooked, Scott seat was up for grabs, so I took it.
I've always considered you a friend.
I don't see why that has to end.
Change parties to run against my father-in-law.
Change parties to seize the opportunity I saw. I swear your pride will be the death of us all. I swear, yours before the fall.
The issue on the table. France is on the verge of war with England. Now, do we commit money and aid to our French allies, or do we stay out of it? Remember, my decision on this matter is not subject to congressional approval. The only one you have to convince is me. Secretary Jefferson, you have the floor, sir.
When we were on death's door, when we were needy, we made a promise. We signed a treaty. We needed money and guns and half a chance. Who provided those funds? In return, we didn't ask for land. Only a promise that we'd lend a hand and stand with them if they fought against the pressures of revolution is crafty, but now is the time to stand. Stand with our brothers as they fight against tyranny. I know Alexander Hamilton is here, but he would rather not have this debate. I'll remind you that he is not Secretary of State. He knows
Oh, snap.
new money dresses like fake royalty. Desperate to rise above his station. Everything he does betrays the ideals of our nation. Hey, and if you don't know, now you
Hey,
know.
no. Oh, damn.
Secretary Hamilton, your response.
You must be out of your goddamn mind, you think the president is gonna bring the nation to the brink of living in the middle of a military nest, a game of chess, where Francis Queen is kickless, who signed a treaty with the king, whose head is now in a basket. Would you like to take it out and ask it? Mr. We honor our treaty, king on his head. Oh, do whatever you want, I'm super dead. Hamilton is right.
Mr.
We're too
President,
fragile to start another fight.
sir, do we not fight for freedom?
Sure, when the French figure out who's gonna lead them,
But people are leading.
people are rioting. There's a difference. Frankly, if the middle is rioting, what's your ideal? Why you do that?
And this is where Les Mis happens.
No, actually, it doesn't. Really? No, it's about the Napoleonic Revolution.
Ah.
You accumulate debt, you accumulate power, and in their hour of need, you forget.
Lafayette's a smart man, he'll be fine. And before he was your friend, he was mine. If we try to fight it, every revolution in the world, we never stop. Where do we draw the line?
So quick-witted.
Alas, I admit it.
I bet you were quite a lawyer.
Our defendant's gonna quit it.
Well, someone ought to remind you.
What?
You're nothing without Washington behind you. Daddy's gone.
Oh, boy.
Must be nice, must be nice. When Washington on your side, it must be nice, it must be nice. To have Washington on your side. Every action has its equal opposite reaction. Thanks to Hamilton, our cabinet's fractured into factions. Try not to crack under the stress. We're breaking down like fractions. We smack each other in the press and we don't print retractions. I get no satisfaction witnessing his fits of passion. The way he rips and prays and dresses like a pit of fashion. Our poorest citizens, our farmers, live ration to ration. As Wall Street robs them blind in search of chips to cash in. This prick is asking for someone to bring him to task. Somebody give me some dirt on his back of his man so we can at last unmask him. I'll pull the trigger on him. Someone load the gun and cock it. But we will all watch it. He got Washington in his pocket. It must be nice. It must be nice to have Washington on your side. It must be nice. It must be nice to have Washington on your side. Look back at the Bill of Rights, which I wrote. Ink hasn't dried. nice. It must be nice to have Washington on your side.
So we doubled the size of the government. Wasn't the trouble with much of our previous government size?
Look at it die.
See how we lie.
Follow the centralist enterprise.
Centralizing national credit and making American credit competitive.
If we don't stop it, we ain't independent.
I have to resign.
Somebody has to stand up for the South.
Somebody has to stand up to his mouth.
If there's a fire you're trying to douse, you can't put it out from inside the house. I'm in the cabinet, I am complicit in watching and grabbing and power and kissing. And Washington isn't gonna listen to discipline, isn't it? This is the difference. This kid is out.
Oh!
They should have just kept that and had the fog. Just had
It must be nice. It must be nice.
Follow the money and see where it goes.
It must be nice. It must
Well,
be
the time
nice.
yeah.
The emperor has no clothes. We won't be invisible. We won't be denied. Still, it must be nice. It must be nice to have Washington on your side.
Mr. President, we've asked you to sing. I know you're busy. What do you need, sir? Sir, I want to give you a word of warning. Sir, I don't know what you heard, but whatever it is, Jefferson started it.
Thomas Jefferson resigned this morning.
You're kidding. I need a favor. Whatever you say, sir. Jefferson will pay for his behavior. Talk less. Use the press, all right, under a pseudonym. You'll see what I can do to him.
I need you to draft an address.
Yes, he resigned. You can finally speak your mind.
No, he's stepping down so he can run for president.
Good luck defeating you, sir.
I'm stepping down. I'm not running for president.
I'm sorry.
Last time. Last time. One last time. Let's take a break tonight and teach me how to say goodbye, to say goodbye. You and
I want to talk about neutrality, sir. With Britain and France on the verge of war, is this the best?
I want to warn against partisan fighting. Pick up a pen, start writing. I want to talk about what I have learned, the hard-won wisdom I have earned.
As far as the people are concerned, you have to serve. You could continue to serve.
No, one last time. The people hear from me one last time. And if we get this right, we're going to teach you how to say goodbye. You and
They will say you're weak.
They will see we're strong.
Position is
So I'll use it to move them along.
Why do you have to say goodbye?
If I say goodbye, the nation learns to move on. It outlives me when I'm gone.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree. No one shall make them afraid. We'll be safe in the nation we've made. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree. Moment alone in the shade. At home in this nation we've made.
Though in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error. I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. I should also carry with me that my country will view them with indulgence, and that after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service, with them upright I see. Faults and incompetent abilities will be consigned to me. As I myself must soon to the mansions of the rest. I anticipate and release the expectation that retreat, in which I promise myself to realize the sweet enjoyment of partaking in the midst of my thirst. The benign issuance of good laws on the free government is a favorite object of mine. And the happy rewards I trust from future years. Teacher, say goodbye. George Washington's going.
Well, I'm not going to stop you.
They say George Washington's yielding his power and stepping away. Is that true? I wasn't aware that was something a person could do. I'm perplexed. I'm eager to keep on replacing whoever's in charge. If so, who's next? Is nobody else in their country who's quite as large? What? John Adams.
I love her. I love her.
I know him. That can't be. It's that little guy those years ago. What was it, 85? That old man began to eat him alive. Oceans rise, empires fall. Next to Washington, they all look slow. Watch them run. They will tear each other into pieces. Jesus Christ is leaving on the President John Adams. Good luck.
He has.
Alex Hamilton, the short-tempered protein creator of the ghost. Oddly abused, scared, and both destroy his reputation. Welcome, folks, to the administration. Jefferson's the runner-up, which makes him the vice president.
Washington can't help you now, no more Mr. Nice
And
President.
Myers Hamilton privately calls him the old man in his thoughts. Hamilton publishes his response.
Sit down, John, you fat mother!
That one's actually.
Did they drop the F-bomb in the production? Are they just censoring it on this?
No, that one's actually censored in the production. The other two are in songs and we're already past them. Or the other three.
but they censored it for Disney Plus, I'm assuming.
We got one F-bomb, and that was in No to This.
He goes like fuck.
Well, he said fuck, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, no, it actually he does say the whole thing. It's so soft you don't hear it. The other two was
7 motherfucking Democratic Republicans.
Southern motherfucking Democratic Republicans.
And
that was Washington's on your side, right?
Yeah, that was Washington's on your side, and the other one is, like Lou just said, when I get the fuck back up again during Battle of Yorktown. So,
I can almost see the headline, your career is done. I hope you think the money, but you've done it and done. You missed one run back where you came from.
You don't even know what you're asking when you're coming from. I don't have to tell you anything at all. Unless if I can prove that I never broke the law, do you promise not to tell another soul what you saw?
Someone else was in the room.
Is that a yes?
Yes. Dear sir, this letter finds you in good health. I'm in a prosperous enough position to put wealth in the pockets of people like me down on their luck. You see, that was my wife who you decided.
In the corner, the twin Reynolds extorted me, resorted me. I paid him quarterly. I made him mortally wounded my prospects, but my papers are orderly. As you can see, I kept a record of every check in my checking history. Check it again against your consistency. I never spent a cent that wasn't mine. You sent the dogs, that's my sense, that's fine. Yes, I have reasons for shame, but I have not committed treason and sullied my good name. As you can see, I have done nothing to provoke legal action or my answers to your satisfaction.
My God.
Hey Chris, do you know what the first thing you saw David Diggs is?
Do I what?
Do you know what the first thing you saw David Diggs in is?
Like ever?
Yeah.
No.
The Get Down.
Oh, who was he in the Get Down?
He was the adult version of Book who was rapping at the concert.
Oh my God. I gotta watch that when this is done. God, I love to Get Down. Oh, I'm upset again.
Yellow sky. When I was 17, a hurricane destroyed my town. I didn't drown. I couldn't seem to go. I rode my way out. Everything down, far as I could see. I broke my way out. I looked up at the town and its eyes on. They passed a blade around. A total stranger to kindness. My mother's story is enough for me to pass a dumb ship. There was New York bound. I rode away at a hound. I rode away to revolution. I was louder than the crack in the bell. I wrote a rise of love letters until she fell. I wrote about the Constitution, independent and wealth. And in the face of ignorance and resistance, I wrote financial systems into existence. With my prayers to God, remember the difference. I picked up a pen. I wrote my own deliverance. In the eye of a hurricane, there is quiet. Just a moment, close by. I was 12 when my mother died. She was holding me. We were sick and she was dying. You couldn't seem to die. I made my way out. Write everything down far as I can see. I'll write my way out. Well, with honesty, this is the eye of the hurricane. This is the only way I can see.
Reynolds hand in the pen.
The Reynolds family. Have you read this? Alexander Hamilton had a torrid affair, and he wrote it down right there. I'm charged against me in connection with one James Reynolds, purposes of improper speculation. My real crime is a hammer's connection with his wife for a considerable time with his knowing consent. With his frequent meetings with her. Most regularly Mrs. Hamilton, our children being absent on a visit to her father. No. Gonna be president now. We're gonna be president now. We're gonna be president now. Let's sing the words out. Let's sing the words out.
I came as soon as I heard.
All the way from London.
Yeah. Angelica, thank God someone understands what I'm struggling here to do.
I'm not here for you. I know my sister like I know my own mind. You will never find anyone as trusting or as kind. I love my sister more than anything.
It's personally your fault. You made this ass settle.
Happiness over fighting every time. But what we have is high. I'm standing at her side. You get satisfied.
You ever see somebody ruin their whole life? This poor life.
Oh, Chris about to cry now.
Man, don't.
The moment I read who you were, you said you were mine. I thought you were mine. Do you know what Angelica said when we saw your first ever live? She said, be careful with that one love. You do what it takes to survive. When your words flooded my senses, your sentences left me defenseless. You built me palaces of paradise. You built me freedom love. I'm rereading the letters you wrote to me. I'm searching, scanning for answers every line, for some kind of sign. When you were mine, the world seemed to burn. You published the letters she wrote to you. You told the whole world how you brought this girl into our bed. In clearing your name, you ruined our lives. Do you know what Angelica said when she read what you'd done? She said, you've there because he's flown too close to the sun. And your words obsessed with your legacy. Your sentences were senseless, and you were paranoid in every paragraph. How they perceive you. Let future historians wonder how Eliza reacted when you broke her heart. You have torn it all apart. I'm watching you take watching you take the world has no part to my heart. The world has no place in our debt. They don't get to know what I said. I'm burning the memories, burning the letters that might have redeemed you. You're forfeit all rights to my heart. You're forfeit the place in our debt. You're safe in your office and flight with all my memories of when you were young.
Lou's, oh my God, Lou's about to cry. I love it.
That's fantastic.
I know.
That was one of those.
He's the latest graduate at King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but that guy makes me astonished. The scholars say I got the same virtuosity and brains as my pops. The ladies say my brain's not what they resemble. I'm only 19, but my mind is older. Gotta be my own man, like my father for Boulder. I shoulder his legacy with pride. I used to hear him say that someday I will blow us all away. Days I'm looking for Mr. George Eager. Made speech last week. I was 4th of July speaker. He's embarrassed my father's legacy in front of a crowd. I can't have that. I'm making my father proud.
I saw him just up Broadway a couple of blocks. He was going to see a play.
Well, I go visit his boxes.
God, you're a punk.
Y'all just ain't good in your front. So about when I get back, we all strip down on ourselves. George! Sure, I was trying to watch the show. You should have watched your mouth before you talked about my father, though.
I didn't say anything that wasn't true. Your father's a scoundrel, and so it seems to you.
It's like that.
Yeah, fool around. I'm national to schoolboy.
Well, see you on the dueling ground. That is unless you want to step outside and go down.
I know where to find you. Piss off. I'm watching the show now.
If you had only heard the shit said about you, I doubt you would have let it slide, and I was not about to.
Slow down.
I hate to ask you for advice. This is my very first school. They don't exactly cover the subject in boarding school.
Did your friends attempt to negotiate a peace?
He refused to apologize. We had to let the peace talk cease.
Where is this happening?
Across the river in New Jersey. Everything is legal in New Jersey.
Alright. So this is what you're gonna do. Stand there like a man until Iker is in front of you. When the time comes, fire your weapon in the air. This will put an end to the whole thing.
What if he decides to shoot and I'm gone?
No, you follow suit if he's truly a man of honor. Take someone's life, that is something you can't shake. Get up and look, I can't take another heartbreak. Promise me. You don't want this young man's blood on your conscience.
Yeah, I promise.
Come back home when you're done. Take my guns. Be smart. Make me proud, son.
My name is Philip. I am a broker. And I'm a little nervous, but I can't show it. I'm sorry, I'm a Hamilton with pride. You talk about my father, I cannot let it slide. Mr. Eaker, how was the rest of your show?
I'd rather skip the pleasantries. Let's go. Grab your pistol.
Confer with your men. Duel will commence after we count to 10. 10. Turn the eye and you'll higher. Summon all the courage you require. Then slowly and clearly aim your gun towards the sky. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where's my son?
Mr. Pendleton, come in. They brought him in half an hour ago. He lost a lot of blood.
Is he alive?
Yes, but you have to understand. Bullet entered just above his hip and lodged in his right
Save him,
arm.
please.
I'm doing everything I can. The wound was already infected when he arrived.
I did exactly as you said, Bob. I held my head up high. Just even before we got to 10. I was aiming for the snap. Aiming for this. I know save your strength and stay alive.
Is he breathing? Is he going to survive this? Did you know?
I'm so sorry for forgetting you.
My son, we clearly did.
You put your hands on mine.
You changed the melody every time.
I will always chase the light. I will always chase the light. It's so good.
There are moments that words don't reach. There is suffering too terrible to name. You hold your child as tight as you can, and you push away the unimaginable. The moments when you're in so deep, it feels easier to just swim down. The Hamilton's moved down, and there's real with the unimaginable.
Hours in the garden, walk alone to the street. It's quiet on top. I never like the quiet. I take the children to church on Sunday. Slide across the road. I pray that never used to happen. I would like it time it's quiet you knock me out, I fall. Where we are, where we start. I know I don't deserve you, but here that would be enough. If I could spare his life, if he could trade his life for mine, he'd be standing here right now. And you would smile, and that would be enough. Don't pretend to know the challenges we're facing. I know there's no replacing what we've lost. And you need time, but I'm not afraid. I know who I married. Just let me stay here by your side. Let me sleep in the street, walking by side, talking by side, happy. Nice to like you every time it's quiet. He's trying to do the unimaginable. Walking in the dark, gone after dark. Singing in the silence of the sea. Around, lights on. They are trying to do the unimaginable. There are moments that the words don't reach. There's a grace too powerful to blame. We push away what we can never understand. We push away the unimaginable. They are standing in the garden. Alexander violins aside. She takes his hand. It's for time. Forgiveness. Can you imagine? Forgiveness. Can you imagine?
Election of 1800. Can we get back to politics? Please. Yeah. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. John Adams shot the bed, but I love the guy, but he's in traction. Poor Alexander Hamilton, he is missing in action. So now I'm facing Aaron Burr with his own faction.
He's very attractive in the North. New Yorkers like his chances.
He's not very forthcoming on any particular stances.
Ask him a question, it glances off, he obfuscates, he dances.
And they say I'm a Francophile. At least they know I know where France is.
Thomas, that's the problem. See, they see Burr as a less extreme one. You need to change course, and he endorsed it might be.
Who did you have in mind?
Don't laugh.
Who is it?
You used to work on the same staff. Nice. Nice to get Hamilton on your side.
It might be nice. It might be nice to get Hamilton on your side. Talk next. Smile more. Don't listen to what's going next. Don't listen more. Hang with him.
It's 1800, ladies, tell your husband, vote Hummer! I don't like Adams.
Well, he's gotta lose. That's just a fetus.
And Jefferson, in love with France.
Yeah, he's so fetus. I like that Aaron Burr. I can't believe we're here with him.
He seems approachable.
Like you could grab a beer with him.
Dear Mr. Hamilton, your fellow Federalists would like to know how you'll be voting.
It's quiet up.
Dear Mr. Hamilton, John Adams doesn't stand a chance of moving from voting.
It's quiet up.
It's over. We know it's over. It's over. But if you had to, dear Mr. Hamilton, John Adams doesn't stand a chance of moving. It's over. But if you had to.
This is how it burns. So,
Alexander,
created quite a stir. So,
I'm going door to door.
openly campaigning.
Sure.
That's new.
Honestly, it's kind of tricky.
Burr,
Sure.
is there anything you wouldn't do?
No, I'm chasing what I want. You know what? I learned that from you.
It's a time.
It's up to the delegates. It's up to Hamilton.
Yeah! People are asking to hear my voice. The country is facing a difficult choice. You were to ask me why promote. Jefferson has my vote. Agree with Jefferson once. Another like 75 different fronts. All is said and all done. Jefferson has beliefs. Burr has none.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned.
Hamilton's on your side.
And
You won in a landslide.
Congrats on a race well run. I did give you a fight. I look forward to our partnership.
our partnership.
As your vice president.
Yeah, right. You hear this guy? Man openly campaigns against me, talking about I look forward to our partnership.
It is crazy that the guy who comes in second gets to be vice president.
Ooh, you know what? We can change that. You know why? Why? Because I'm the president. When you see Hamilton, thank you for being yours.
I was arrogant, immigrant, orphan, bastard, horse.
Somehow endorsed Thomas Jefferson, his enemy, a man he's despised since the beginning, just to keep me from winning. I'm gonna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. Catch me from the room where it happens for the last time. Dear Alexander, I'm so angry, but I told a lie. As I reckon with the effects of your life on mine, I look back on where I failed, and in every place I checked, the only common thread has been your disrespect. Now you call me anymore, dangerous disgrace. If you got something to say, name a time and place, face to face. I have the honor to be servant.
Mr. Vice President, I am not the reason no one trusts you. No one knows what you believe. I will not equivocate on my opinion. I have always worn it on my sleeve. Even if I said what you think I said, you would need to cite a more specific reason. Here's an itemized list of 30 years of disagreements. Sweet Jesus. I am not shy, I am just a guy in the public eye, trying to do my best for our republic. I don't want to fight, but I won't apologize for doing what's right. I have the honor to be obedient servant, aid of him.
Remember how you perceive good men, temperate indeed, good men. Answer for the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to plead, good man.
Your grievance is legitimate, I stand by what I said, every bit of it. You stand only for yourself, it's what you do. I can't apologize because it's true.
Then stand, Alexander. We hockey. Don't. Guns. Draw.
You're on.
I had the honor to be your obedient servant.
Santa, come back to sleep.
We have an early meeting out of town.
It's still dark outside.
I know. I just need to write something down.
Do you want like you're running out of time? Come back to me.
I'll be back before you know I'm gone.
Come back to sleep.
This meeting's at noon.
Well, I'm going back to sleep.
Hey. Best of wives and best of women.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. There are 10 things you need to know. One, we rode across the Hudson at dawn. My friend William P. Van Ness signed on as my number 2. Hamilton arrived with his crew, Nathaniel Pendleton and the doctor that he knew. Number 3, I watched Hamilton examine the terrain. I wish I could tell you what was happening in his brain. This man has poisoned my political pursuits.
Justice beats die and no one shoots.
Number 4, Hamilton drew first position, looking to the world like a man on a mission. This is a soldier with a marksman's ability. The doctor turned around so he could have deniability. 5, no, I didn't know this at the time, but we were
Near the stage spot your son died, is that why?
6, he examined his gun with such rigor. I watched as he methodically fiddles with the trigger. 7, confession time, here's what I got. My son, the soldiers will tell you I'm a terrible shot.
Number 8,
your last chance to negotiate. Spend a second, see if they can set the record straight. They won't teach you this in your classes, but look it up. Hamilton was wearing his glasses. Why? If not to take, that's the aim. It's him or me. The world will never be the same. I had only one thought before the slaughter. This man will not make an orphan of my daughter. Looking in the eyes, they know higher. Selling all the courage you require. Then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers.
I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. Is this where it gets me? On my feet, several feet ahead of me. I see it coming. Do I run or fire my gun or let it be? There's no beat, no melody. Earth, my first friend, my enemy. Maybe the last face I'd ever see. If I throw away my shot, is this how you remember me? What if this bullet is my legacy? Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. I wrote some notes at the beginning of a song someone will sing for me. America, your great unfinished symphony you sent for me. You let me make a difference, a place where even orphan immigrants can leave their fingerprints. Rise up, I'm running out of time, I'm running in my times up. Rise up, eyes up. I catch a glimpse of the other side. Lawrence leads a soldier's chorus on the other side. My son is on the other side. He's with my mother on the other side. Washington is watching from the other side. Teach me how to say goodbye. Rise up, rise up, rise up, and rise up. My love, take your time. I'll see you on the other side. Take a life to freedom. He aims his pistol at the sky. Your color you want, but it's shaking like the drums waves. I walk towards you, but I am ushered away. Roll it back across the hudson. I get a drink. Somebody tells me you better hide. Say Angelica, the lies. We're both satisfied when you die. Death doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes. History obliterates in every picture it paints. It paints me and all my mistakes. When Alexander aimed at the sky, he may have been the first one to die, but I'm the one who paid for it. It's life, but I paid for it. Now I'm fulfilling your story. I was too young and blind to see. I should have known. I should have known the world was wide enough for both and the world was wide enough for both and
Yeah, Taylor, we're having a good stream. We're right at the tail end of the film, so
we're gonna have a review session,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? President Jefferson.
I'll give him this. His financial system is a work of genius. I couldn't undo it if I tried. And I tried.
President Madison. He took our country from bankruptcy to prosperity. I hate to admit it, but he doesn't get enough credit for all the credit that he gave us.
Every other founding father's story gets told. Every other founding father gets to grow old.
When you're gone, who remembers your name? Who keeps your flame? Who tells your story? Who tells your story?
Put myself back in the routine. I stop wasting time on tears. I live another 50 years. It's not enough. I interview every soldier who fought by your side. I try to make sense of your thousands of pages of writings. You really do write, but you're running out of time. I rely on Angelica.
While she's alive, we tell your story. She's buried in Trinity Church near you. When I needed her most, she was right on time. And I'm still not through. I ask myself, what would you do if you had more time? Lord, this kindness gives me what you always wanted. It gives me more time. I raise funds in D.C. for the Washington Monument. I speak out against slavery. You could have done so much more if you only had time. And when my time is up, have I done enough? Will they tell my story? Can I show you what I'm representing? I established the first revolution in New York City. I helped raise hundreds of children. I get to see them growing up. In their eyes I see you, Alexander. I see you every time. And when my time is up, have I done enough? Will they tell my story? Oh, I can't wait to see you again. It's only a matter of time.
Bookshelves.
They do well. That's why I like the theater. You know, because everybody you can see them. You know?
After that performance, Lynn goes, "This was performed to be sold to," and then it just inserts Disney.
All right, Chris, how you feeling?
Man, I mean, it's great. Like, what else? What hasn't been said about this thing that I can even try to emphasize? Like this, it's incredible. I understand the hype. I still want to see this. I don't care.
We made that.
I really want to see this. Oh damn! I love this. I really, really love this.
All right,
and David Diggs is the shining star of the second act.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do?
We're gonna go around. First.
Oh, this is the
part. This is the beginning. Nick, how about you?
It was good, excellent. All the performances were great. I loved all the little King George nods throughout the entire thing. That scene where Washington is like talking about, the two terms. It's excellent. That was probably my favorite performance, the entire thing. I thought that the way that they shot that part as well was excellent. where they kind of really gave him his time to shine, which I think that he deserved the whole time. No, it was what I expected and more.
Lou, how about you?
Philippa, oh my God, Philippa Sue. She plays Eliza, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So her voice was just amazing in this. Honestly, that's what I always like. I like that little rasp. That's just my main thing. I mean, this is just overall a great way to just show it off. You know, it didn't have the theater energy because I think that it's all because we're streaming it right now. But if you had a full theater at the movie theater, it would be electric. I mean, I think that it was a great adaptation or filming of it. This was actually my first theatrical
play.
Yeah, that I watched in movie form. So I think it was great, honestly.
You know, for me, this is my second time seeing this version of it, and my dad and I had the same kind of. I touched on this when we did the midpoint review. Personally, this hit me more with this than it did my theater performance because I was able to see and feel the emotions, and like when you have that, it's hard to just move on. Like I'm definitely, any chance I get, I will see Hamilton live. But being able to see the original cast come back together, or not come back together, seeing the original cast in their final days, putting together this amazing performance, it's just like, wow. And I know this year, and I don't think many people have talked about this, but this is something I started thinking about Monday after I watched this, is the Academy said this year that streaming films that were supposed to release in theaters are going to allow to be nominated for Academy Awards. So it hit me the other night, could that have been part of the reason why Disney put this out now, especially in a time where our country is where it is?
Maybe. I think that personally, just in a year of disarray, this was a much needed thing to watch.
Yeah.
You know, whether it gets an Academy Award nomination or not, it felt like we needed to be able to watch this, you know? And that's kind of what I'm taking away from it, is that, like, you know, yeah, I almost enjoy that my first viewing of this was with the original cast.
Yeah.
Because I think I can appreciate it more from that standpoint. But no, it was good.
Something that I saw on Twitter that I will not take credit for is like a majority of this cast is they're minorities. Yep. And if we're including the women, like when this time period that the musical was taking place in, like they were fighting for the things that are really going on in our country still. Like this is super relevant now, and this was made 5 years ago. This
4 years ago.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. Like it was relevant then, and it's super relevant now, especially with what's going on in our country. So getting a movie getting to see Hamilton, almost hit. I hate to use this terminology, but it hits different, you know. Yeah. Like I guarantee if I would have saw this during its initial run with the OG cast, I would have liked it. Like I would have loved it. Jeez, but knowing what I know about our country now, and watching them, just because like George Washington isn't black, Aaron Burr's not black, Thomas Jefferson isn't black. Like it's awesome to see that, and it be faithful, but we don't have to necessarily. We don't have to really. We get to talk about this cool stuff without actually talking about it, and I really, really like that. Like I really, really dig that. It's great. it's a great way to look at this. I'm so glad Disney released this now, as opposed to last year or next year.
I think that's the beauty of live theater, honestly, that you can play with the races of the characters, and I always like the idea of that, and that's what I try to incorporate with my film. Like, I like to say, let's jazz it up with a different kind of person that you would expect. But I think that is always that's just the beauty of it, and this, of course, brings it to light, because it's always done. Have an African American father play the father to a white girl, and it always makes sense, and it brings diversity to the cast. And I think that's the beauty of live theater, that it can just bring many different people to brilliant parts.
Yeah.
And
June 26th to 28th, 2016 is when this was filmed. Just rolling in the credits right now. But no, I get what you're saying, Chris. You actually brought up a point, because I follow the Hamilton production on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, and I remember when they were first starting to drop media on it and everything. You got they dropped this thing where they talked to all the major cast members the night of opening night and everything. And Christopher Jackson, who plays George Washington, talked about when he visited Mount Vernon and how hard it is for him to play a character who owned slaves and whatnot, being a black man. And a lot of them touched on that, being people of other races, just struggling to actually play these characters at times and play them with respect because of who they are and what they did. I mean, look at it. Lin-Manuel had it easy because Hamilton was abolitionist and everything. He was against slavery, so his character, outside of having an affair, doesn't have much baggage because his is a story about climbing the social ladder and coming from nothing.
Yeah.
Where you have all these other characters who
I hate
have
to be
their
that
demons
guy,
in their closets.
but Aaron Burr is a bad dude. He is one of the villains of American history.
Yes.
Even at the end, this is something that I learned from the theater-y things, the theater Instagram. He was not remorseful. He just said, "Yeah, I killed him. I killed Alexander Hamilton. What you gonna do?" He was always the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's amazing when you realize that this is an actual villain in American history, and you barely know about him if you just go through school. They don't really talk about Alexander Hamilton or Aaron Burr. So I think that it's amazing that Lynn brought these unknowns, I guess, to light, because Alexander Hamilton, he, as you can see, he changed this whole entire country, and honestly, he did leave a humongous legacy.
Yeah. Well, Chris, if you had to rate it out of 5 reels, what you giving it?
Oh man, I mean, I'm biased. I am extremely biased.
You gotta say 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 reels. Like what else? What else? Come on,
Nick.
It's no different than what it has been viewed in the public eye since it came out.
Well,
it's a 5 out of 5.
And
I'm gonna nitpick a little bit. I have just a few nitpicks because of what they did with making it PG-13.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of disrespectful to the art that Lin-Manuel did. I mean, of course, you have to do it if you're trying to make your platform squeaky clean, but I just think that...
I mean, he said he was going to make it PG-13 for the theater release anyways.
I know, but I would... If they make a Blu-ray,
I'll buy the Blu-ray only if they make it rated R.
It's never gonna hit Blu-ray. That's the downside of Disney Plus. The stuff like this is gonna stay here as long as it can, because that's how. Oh, you want to watch it? You can only watch it
As far
here.
as they can keep kicking in your $10 a month.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish that I could have a physical media for it, because I would put this on my shelf. That's the one thing.
Cut the movie to the CD.
Yeah.
There you get your F-bombs dropped in there.
I mean, it's just, I would like to see that. I mean, but I would give it, I don't know, 4.5. It's just because I'm not the biggest fan of Disney. I mean, it's just that they are trying to make stuff that's not squeaky clean into something that's squeaky clean with a bow on top, you know? It's just, this was already a thing, and you're pretty much trying to, it's very, very little and very, very...
I was going to say, you can't really blame Disney for that. That's more him, because he got to choose who he sold this to. He chose Disney. They bought it for $75 million.
Yeah, because they have the money to
That's a
back it
legit
up.
point, though, that he's making is that it could have been, if it was, though I wonder, to that point, though, of a media side of it, not from a theater side of it, though. If this movie came out with any other company, wouldn't you think, for the point of being able to sell it to anybody, that they would make it PG-13 either way?
That's the point I was making.
Because even though, yes, you can have parents that go, hey, I'm bringing my kid in no matter what, they see the a lot of people see the R rating and go,
I don't want to bring.
I don't think that I can show this.
No matter if they give the warning ahead of time that it's only 3 F-bombs, and that's why. I
just think that how they changed one of them. Like, the first one, I was like, okay, fine, that's whatever. But the 7 motherfucking Democratic Republicans, how I hate when they go like, what? Like, you could tell that something.
Scratch, yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid. It was the stupidest thing that they could have done. If they would have, I don't know, if they would have just said,
See, I think if it wasn't so long, it would have just been a beep, but it would have been a really long pause, because it's the Southern, and it's motherfucking, and then, so you got a decent amount of space there compared to the first one,
yeah. I mean, I would have just made that into just a and then just have it trail off really quick, and then just have that be it.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell that that's fuck. You can't. Unless you're an adult, and then you're like, oh, that we just said fuck. You know, it's just...
I don't know. I know a 5-year-old right now who caught on to it.
Well, yeah. But they pick up anything. But it's just... There's a rule of thumb in the theater community where if you're taking a playwright's work, okay, if I take Shakespeare and then I say, oh, I don't like that monologue, I'm cutting that out, that is so disrespectful for the art. Because the reason why Lin-Manuel put those, there's a reason why he put those F-bombs.
Yeah.
And
it's for the power of it.
Yeah, for the power and the whole entire rap aspect, because of look at all of hip hop and all the F-bombs that they use, you know? It's for the story and there's a reason behind it. I just hate when there's censorship and companies pick and choose what, like, you're going against the artist and it's more just for money, or like it's I believe that it's just wrong.
Because at the end of the day, though, my point is, to me at least, any company would have done that.
Yeah.
In order to market it and make money.
And
because
disagree with
PG-13,
Right.
Yeah, a PG-13 rating is going to bring more butts into a seat than an R rating. That's just general rule of thumb.
Proven wrong by certain conglomerates. I mean, Deadpool made $1 billion. Joker made $1 billion.
Deadpool actually didn't make $1 billion. Neither of the Deadpool films did.
Collectively.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I think that Hamilton would have brought in a shit ton of money if it was released in theaters as an R-rated movie, but I think that it would have brought in way more if it was PG-13. I mean, that's hindsight, 2020, because clearly, well, no pun intended with that, I guess.
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020 being that 2020 came around and we'll never see it. Well, I'm sure we're gonna possibly see it in theaters. If Disney's like, hey, we aren't making $100 million in one day, so let's just release it in theaters for a weekend.
Actually, Disney was being kind of cutthroat with this. They ended their free trials of Disney Plus before the release of this. So if you wanted to watch this, unless you went to a friend's house,
they want your money.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one reason why I disagree with Disney, because it's only about the money and not the art and not spreading this around.
Right.
That's one reason why me as an artist and a producer myself, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for art and doing it for a legacy. You know, that's why I'm doing it, because my money isn't gonna stay with me when I'm gone.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing about Lynn, but he still sold it for $75 million.
Well, it was he probably saw it as, I need to get this out, and I mean, he probably had.
There's a whole story about the history. He paid for this entire film, filming all this all out of his own pocket, and then he was just to the highest bidder. That was literally it. He auctioned it to the highest bidder.
That's smart. I mean, it's also, I don't know.
I think that there's a thing about being smart, and there's also a thing about, hey, now all these people can see the art.
Yeah. I think that he didn't do it for greed, though. Because this is his baby, you know?
He can put it back into other smaller projects, though.
Yeah. And he can make something just as grand. I'm positive of it, and I can't wait for that. It's just what I see from different companies, you know, it's all about money, and it's not about the art. And then they start censoring the artists with saying, oh, you can't say that, you can't say this.
Well, Lynn also made it known that this was his decision. He went on Twitter and said,
well, yeah.
Because you can't say this is a company, because it's the MPAA. Just like he wanted to make sure as many eyes could see it as possible. He said that.
Yeah.
And the MPAA only allows one F-bomb. So,
yeah, I know. And I think that's... I mean, I just sort of disagree with it, but...
It's like radio censorship, right?
Yeah.
Like, of every song, like you mentioned rap music earlier. Like, when you listen to rap music on the radio, it's censored to hell. And there are certain words you can't say. But at the same time, in order for you to make the money for that song, so you can get those spins, so you can get the downloads later, you have to censor it to, like what Matt said, to produce for a mass audience, which is, it's always been a thing and forever will be a thing. I understand where you're coming from. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't have minded. It didn't take me out of it when you heard the little record scratches or when you heard the little pauses.
Like, motherfucking Democratic Republicans, the only one that took me out of the two that got censored.
Yeah,
like I wasn't even tripping. Like, yeah, was it obvious? And you're like, oh, like that. They obviously censored it, but I wasn't. I wouldn't detract from the movie itself, because like what you guys are saying, this is how Lin-Manuel wanted this movie to be released. If he wanted it to be like Japanese F-bombs, then okay. Then Disney probably wouldn't have paid for it, and it would have went to Warner or Comcast or somebody else. So if that's how Lin wanted it, I'll happily take it. Now I'll take it from the man that wrote the thing instead of Disney. If unless this was Disney's call, which I doubt.
All that I'm saying is that if I was doing it, I would have found a more interesting or creative way to censor that one. You know, it instead of just that obvious and uncreative way, I would have found something more.
I mean, but with how the show goes, is there really any way that you can, like, a record scratch? It was the easiest thing, and it made the most sense with how the style of the music is.
I mean, I know it's just me nitpicking right now, but it's just there were little things where I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. You know, before Satisfied, they were doing the cuts and all that, and I'm like, there's too many cuts right here. You know, because you're losing out on the choreography, and I mean it's just little nitpicking things that bump it down for me. Just like, I mean, nothing's ever perfect, you know. I just always look and say, oh, I didn't like that. I like that. I mean, I just think that this was a great movie, honestly. And I mean, I'm just, yeah. I mean,
For me, it's a 5 out of 5. My experience watching this is head to toe. Just how I came out of it is 10 times better than how I felt coming out of it live, and I still loved it live. But like we talked about that during our talk during the intermission, it's being able to see those emotions, being able to feel like you're in the front row.
I mean, I'm sorry for asking this question, and this will be for everybody. If for your children, you know how they always ask, how will you show them Star Wars? How would you show them Hamilton? Would you have them see the movie first, theater version first, or the soundtrack first?
I would probably start with the soundtrack, because realistically, that's how you know if they are gonna have any interest in the film. And you can start off with music at a younger age, where you're in the car and you can just play it, compared to you're sitting at home on the TV and they decide to run around. I was exposed to theater young. It just depends on when you know as a parent your child can handle that kind of thing. That's realistically how I would do it. But realistically, I'm going to start with the soundtrack, then I'd move to the movie before I even decided to sink $75 plus in the seats, because $7, $75 per seat, where I have to pay myself.
You only paid $75?
I
paid more than that. I'm like,
I didn't pay a dime. I don't know what. I'm just saying, like,
great. Yeah, it's quiche.
I'm just saying, in general, like, a backseat at Playhouse is about $75.
Yeah.
So it's like a $75 ticket base price. So it's like that. There's a ticket for me. There's a ticket for my wife. There's a ticket for my kid or kids. So within 3 seats, you're spending $225 before fees and everything. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't like people, so seeing a movie at home is much better. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a little bit easier to expose to. I'm going to expose them to the live-action Hamilton feature-length film that they're eventually going to make first. By the time, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'll show them this first before music, because I don't know. For me personally, I think I kind of enjoy, when it comes to theater, just everything. Visuals, the music. But at the same time, I'm the same way different way about movie soundtracks, and I can listen to those outside of theater a little bit more.
See, my thing about doing the soundtrack, and I think Lou and Chris can touch on this more, is because we're the 3 guys who listen to the soundtrack before we even ever got a chance to see that. It gives the mind a place to play and imagining and build up kind of what you're hoping to see, and it lets you have a little bit more freedom.
Through, I'm sure, multiple times at this point before I saw it, because of just being exposed to it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about we purposely just Lou's probably purposely just sat down and listened to it. I know I purposely just sat down and listened to it. Chris has purposely just sat down and listened to it just because we feel like listening to it. That's what I'm more touching on.
Yeah, I love that point, because personally, I made my own choreography. Yep. You saw that today.
Yeah.
Like, that's my choreography. You know, it's how I think that
it allows you especially a younger mind, to be more creative.
Yeah. Chris, what would you say?
I mean, there's no wrong answer to this, because like what both Matt and Nick have said, like, those are both perfectly feasible ways of approaching this. Honestly, I would show them this one, the thing we just watched, because I wish I saw this like how Nick watched it. I honestly wish that because when I listened to it, however so many years ago it was, I was convinced I was never going to see it. Like I always thought I'm never going to see Hamilton. That's just something that's not that I didn't want to. It's just something I never thought I was going to do or had the opportunity to do so.
And then it moved right down the road, and you still.
I mean, yeah, and then
It's too
like even then, like I thought I'm like, nope, never going to see it, never gonna have the chance. And then this came out, and I really really enjoyed this because since we're talking about like if we're going to expose what we're going to expose our children to, or if you're going to introduce this to somebody, like watching the visuals and watching this whole piece for what it is, especially with the cast that made it popular in the first place, this was an experience, a 2 hour and 40-minute experience that the music is obviously a major part of, but we touched on this during the intermission. The performances in this are incredible, and you get to see that. And it's not the soundtrack, because I've listened to the soundtrack multiple times. You all have, and just the slight differences in the vocal performance that we got. The vocal performances in this make such a difference, at least in my eyes, or when I'm hearing it with my ears. So I think this is the way you should watch it if you already haven't seen it in the theater. So for those of us who haven't seen a production of it, like this is perfectly fine. Like I love watching
the theater production personally.
Yeah, and this and Matt, you had texted me halfway through the first act, like it feels like we're there. Like yes, like it does feel like we're watching this, and it was shot beautifully. Like I loved watching the different shots in this thing.
That Aaron Burr shot, there were.
I need a poster of that. I really do.
I can't remember if it was after Wait for a Room where it happened, where he's like, click, boom, boom, and then it's just he's dark, and you had the light flooding behind him, and it's just this silhouette,
like to me, like this. I wish I got to see this first. I wish this was available 4 years ago, so I could have watched that first and then listened to the soundtrack a bunch. But even then, I still love this, and I love how this was presented to me. If I had the choice, a theater production would be first. But with what I'm given, this is what we're rocking with, and then we get to pick what songs we really like later and listen to Satisfied 24 hours a day. Like I really loved this. I loved watching this. I had a ball, and I can't wait to watch it again. I really can't. I'm probably going to put it back on again when we're done with this.
Chris, you do realize as soon as Chicago theaters open them up, I'm buying like 3 or 4 tickets, right?
Please. Like, and we're gonna rock. We're gonna rock.
Gonna get dressed down to the nines, bro.
I know. I almost got dressed up for this, but I'm like, no, it's doing too much.
I was gonna dress up like Alexander Hamilton, so. Powdered wig. Yeah, powdered wig.
But this was incredible. This whole thing, like I had so much fun watching this, and it's gonna have rewatchability. Whether people are gonna watch it for the bits they like or watch it from start to finish, it's gonna be a hit.
You gonna watch it with your mom this weekend?
I don't think this might not be something that my mom might dig. I don't know how she's not too big on musical theater, so it's gonna be a tough sell. But
I would recommend just doing it. I would.
I mean, I'm gonna tell her.
Yeah, try to sell it, because there were guys who I worked with who were deep into hip hop, and then I told them, "Hey, listen to Hamilton." Then they were like, "Man, this is really good."
And that was me when my homies at college told me, "Chris, you got to listen to Hamilton." It's like I wasn't in the theater at the time. Theater wasn't something I was into. I didn't dig it. I respected people. I liked that people liked it, but it wasn't for me. And
so you're talking to 3 people who were involved in theater all throughout high school. So,
and I was like, oh my god, Hamilton's the jam. Like this rocks. And then I started listening to other stuff in the last couple of years. But Hamilton's really kicked it off for me. Granted, it was hip hop, so it was easy for me to digest it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it was good. Not even just because it was hip hop. It was good music. Like you can take Helpless, bam, that's a jam in itself. Out of context, that's a jam. Satisfied, jam. A bunch of jams in this thing. Yep. Take it out of the musical, and it's still a hit. Like I really, really love this thing, and I'm so happy that I got to see it, and I can't wait to see more of it, regardless if it's a theater or if it's on this rinky-dink TV I've been watching stuff on.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch more.
You're tech, bro. I'm gonna have to wait till the end of the day to watch Hamilton. Chris, you can watch it beforehand. No,
I wanted to wait for this, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so happy that it exists. I'm so stoked. Can't wait to watch it again.
But everybody who joined us, because I know we were in and out through viewers throughout it. Thank you for joining us. I will be cutting the whole discussion part out and throwing that on the YouTube channel just so we can have the discussion out. Yeah, I need more. So after seeing it, Chris, who would the character you want to play be after seeing it now?
George Washington or Thomas Jefferson. Actually, no, Thomas Jefferson. Because David looked like he had a ball. And I'm telling you, the character stole the second act for me.
He won a Tony because of
good.
So
good.
He
was incredible.
Nick, how about you?
Chris and I, we found so many similarities between the two of us. We might as well be the same person at this point. It's primarily due to his musical calendar that he's been posting on his Instagram story. King George. Because I've heard that song so much, and now I can actually put a character to it, and I drew a lot. So
that was great.
Yours and mine don't really change because we had already seen.
Well, I mean, okay, it's just this reminds me of how much I like the certain characters. I mean, I always like I love Alexander Hamilton. I mean, that would be like my reach, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm so close to him. I mean, I don't cheat on my wife, but hey, like, what's you gonna do? But I would either want to be him or Philip, because I absolutely love
your boy Anthony Ramos.
That's my man right there.
I love
how
I was able to get you. I loved how I was able to crack you up. But look, it's Chris.
That's a compliment. Me, Anthony Ramos, that's a compliment.
I remember when I saw it, the guy who played Philip was so short. He made it up to my chest. And I'm like, hey, bud, how are you? It was awesome. And then the guy who played Thomas Jefferson was huge. I'm like,
the guy who played Thomas was giant.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I know that kind of a lesser known celebrity, but he was with Disney and stuff. Jordan Fisher, musical artist. He played Philip and the other guy in a later version of the show. So I was almost expecting.
I think it was the LA one.
Mm-hmm. But Anthony Ramos, fantastic. I look forward to seeing him in Into the Heights.
Yes, In the Heights.
Oh my God!
Please, I need to see it.
The Heights, I don't know.
Yeah, Chris, think about that. That movie should have been out for about a week and a half now.
Oh,
wait, In the Heights was supposed to be.
It's supposed to come out in June. And then they pushed it back till next June.
I can't wait to see that. Honestly, that's one of those ones that I'm like, I actually haven't seen it. So
either
damn you, coronavirus, pushing back in the Heights a year late. Like that was like one of my most anticipated movies of this year.
Yep, same.
That was like top 5 for me.
Anthony Ramos was getting Oscar buzz for it already, early.
Dude, like I was so stoked just off the trailer, and I can't wait to see that, especially after watching this.
John Chu was amazing.
Yes. Give me more. Give me more.
Hopefully coronavirus doesn't stop something from happening later this month.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But
wear a mask, people.
Yeah.
They actually mandated it in the city of Cleveland. It's mandated to wear a mask at all times now.
Or you get fined.
Yeah. Or you get fined.
You go out in public, please wear a mask. That's it. Just wear it.
And wear it right.
Not chin strap it, wear it. Actually wear it.
Yeah, don't do one of these or one of these. Just go like that.
Cut it right down the middle so you can breathe out of your mouth.
Yeah.
If we all do it, this will be gone. It
won't be gone, but the curve will be flat.
It will be better, and we can go back to our normal lives.
We can go back to the theater.
Yes, please.
Live.
Yeah.
Man. So from everybody at Real Entertainment, wear a mask for us.
Please wear a mask. We missed the live theater.
Yeah.
But no. Thanks again to everyone for joining. Signing off. I'm Matt.
Yo. I'm Lou. Nick.
And I'm Anthony Ramos.
And we are
King Jur.
I'm Alexander
And this was another Watch with Watch along.
There's a million things I haven't done.
Just